A flawless game at that 23-11 at the 19 MVP. Looks like it is going to be
themselves and then capitalizing on it.
Yeah, the micro is just a little bit more synergized, at least for game number 1, and we're going to have to see how BTK responds for game number 2. Definitely some impressive gameplay nonetheless, and something that not too many teams we see are able to execute at that caliber. The chip, it was very effective. We kind of asked the question when it got slotted in. We were wondering, hey, is it still the bread and butter that it used to be? And it definitely is. I mean, it definitely kept BTK on their toes when it came to the engagements. When BTK thought they had the numbers, that's when Cold World would just pop up and disrupt everything and turn the engagement around. This is interesting right here. The 1v1 matchup between Z and Basic was a little concerning as well. I definitely don't want to overextend on the 1v1s, especially being a late game marksman. You want to be able to get to those core items as soon as possible. But there it goes. Look at the counter plays. Look at the teleports. Just look how concerning as well. I definitely don't want to overextend on the 1v1s, especially being a late game marksman. You want to be able to get to those core items as soon as possible. But there it goes. Look at the counter plays. Look at the teleports. Just look how impactful it is when you have a chip on your side who knows when to engage.
Yeah, I don't think the chip will be let through again because so many of those fights were chip dependent. So many, I mean, this one again, for a moment there, BTK in the laning phase, it felt like they had it, but the chip, the wild card pick there was just too much. And then as the game went into the mid side, Mark Cutie was just detrimental to everything the C9 wanted to bring. They were just, I mean, able to check bushes, able to make it so BTK could never really advance or look for the big ambushes.
Yeah, and Chicken kind of forced to put that Gatot in the XP lane. It just wasn't really effective for him. And we were wondering what he was going to kind of slot in there, right? Because we got to see him. He kind of wanted to go in for a counterplay up against Nats with the last pick of the XP lane when they were second in the draft. And yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't work out the way he was going for. We got to see some good tries, though, right? He tried to bait out some plays from Cloud9, especially toward the ending here, trying to make them use all their utility on him and stay alive by hitting some creeps and some minions. But it just didn't really work out in their favor. Shark on top of that, the implosion plays, yeah, he was able to grab some members, but the Bloodthirsty Kings were not able to burst them down in time, and then you would just see Shark be the one to get picked off because of it.
Yeah, and I mean, right before this was when Fried Chicken stick his necks out. You can see that he's the first to go down here. Mobazane is second, and then Shark the final one to fall. And after that, I think it was just kind of a wrap. I do think Fried Chicken may have performed a little bit, like towards the end there, we start to see, or at least even in gold, that could have maybe gone a very different way. If BTK's early game potential really would have set off, it could have definitely gone into their hands. But their rotations didn't really matter when the chip is on the field, man. And it was just, it was scary. And the thing about C9 there too is they didn't just play, you know, we saw them last week really play this more spread out comp. They were very all over the map at all times. This game they played much tighter. They played a lot more 4-1. They played a lot of just 5 on top of you. They played a very different play style than what we saw last week. And it's starting to look like C9 has even more cards up their sleeve.
Yeah, you know what was interesting too is BTK, they kind of prioritized picking up that Julian from Mobazane super early. You got to see that Suyu banned out. You got to see a lot of the junglers banned out. That Zane is very comfortable. I think the Alpha was banned out on top of that. There goes the Alpha again, banned out from Cloud9. But Zane was able to pick up that Julian first pick. Best player picked up the his hero. He picked up the Nolan last in the draft, and to be able to get the MVP on top of that, it's just very hard with that deep hero pool that he has, especially inside of the jungle. But I'm starting to kind of sniff a pattern when it comes to Cloud9's drafting, right? They seem to try and force Zane on specific junglers. They're okay with him going on that Julian. I feel like they don't feel too pressured to go up against it. The Bane is still up for grabs, though. It is yet to be picked up from either side. We know that Mobazane is very effective on it as well. So if he can't get in with the Julian, maybe he goes in with a little bit more of a push-oriented jungler, and that could be a possibility to turn this back around in their favor. Now, BTK does have first pick, unlike last game, so we'll see how they kind of jump into this. It may change the bans entirely. We're seeing a total just full jungle bans right now. This is Zane and best player targeting at its finest.
I think BTK, I think the wise move is ban out the Valentina again, high chance, and force C9 to ban out the chip, right? Or ban out something else. But either way, force C9 to probably ban out the chip here. It's something that I think they kind of have to do right now. The only problem is if BTK doesn't ban out the Valentina, then Mark Cutie still gets, you know, something very comfortable for himself. So definitely C9 has been known to, I mean, even without the trades, they just showed that Mark Cutie does amazing on the Jushin. Instead, BTK go for the Jushin ban this time. If C9 decides, all right, we're not going to ban the chip here, then either way, they get some nice comfort picks. BTK is in this situation where it's like, okay, we get the, do we take the chip and give them the Valentina and another power pick? They go for the chip in. So I do feel like BTK in this situation maybe one out. I got a feeling BTK does pick up the Valentina up front here, unless there's something else I'm missing.
Khalid is still available, but we know
Khalid's
that
available.
Nat's been kind of dominating against Khalid's, especially pulling out that CC. So I wonder if that's Cloud9's trying to force that hand from the Bloodthirsty Kings. But I mean, last game we got to see Chicken be a little bit more reactionary in terms of drafting, right? He wanted to pick a hero that he knew would kind of out-rotate and beat Nats, but he wasn't able to do that with the last game, just kind of probably due to the objectives of how well C9 was executing. But with them having Prio, it's an excellent question. Do they go in for the mage? Do they pick up that Valentina, provide some draft pressure? Or do they get chicken on something super early, such as the Khalid or the Katat? It's still available.
Or the Katat, yeah.
Are great options, but they're going to go in for something different entirely. It's going to be the Ruby, and I'm okay with that too, because that is a trifecta, right? That could be the roamer, that could be the XP laner, that could be the gold laner. So right now, they're just playing for a little bit of insurance in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely solid. And as we've seen, I think, in so many drafts over this season, is it doesn't feel like there's just like one pick to rule them all right now, except maybe Chip. So going for the Ruby first, going for the Valentina first, going for the Katat first, doesn't like guarantee you the win. I will say that C9, they get the Valentina here, they could pick up the Katat, and they do have two nice comfort power picks for themselves up front. Yeah, I think that's probably the route to take here. Most likely. And then with the Valentina, they also can still pull off. Ooh, the Grok, though. The Grok is so clean.
Okay, I wasn't going to say Grok. I was going to say Matilda was available for grabbing. And I thought that they would have pulled that out and been like, okay, we have a Valentina. We already got an I'm Offended. We have some crowd control, so we can throw some support in the mix. But the Grok is definitely interesting, especially this early. I mean, it works, I guess. You can hug the wall. You don't have to worry about the heavy crowd control composition. Here's a hero we didn't mention, though, especially having Prio first in the draft. The Phoveus slips through the bans and has been secured by the Bloodthirsty Kings. Did get a full revamp, full physical damage now, and it's been very effective. The Julian now going to be picked up for the second time from Mobazane. Didn't work in the first game. We didn't get to really see him find a way to close into these neutral objectives, but with having Prio in the draft for this game, maybe this will make up the difference.
Okay, so with the gold lane Ruby essentially locked in, I do think Hoon needs to be on something that's going to output some damage. C9, if the Lilia doesn't get banned out, could be a nice pick for Hoon here. But here's the thing with C9, picking up that Grok, this gives them such laning phase priority. Having the Grok and the Valentina, there's nothing that BTK is going to bring that is going to out clear that mid lane better than a Valentina and a concussive blast Grok. So when BTK normally, sometimes they win out in that first minute or two, they get the early game gank, they have some laning. This kind of really forfeits that over a little bit to C9. And I think we got to keep our eyes on Cold World and Mark Cutie this game, because I got a feeling in these first 3 minutes they are going to be moving around a lot and probably have river control.
Yeah, we got to see how they kind of play into this. I mean, there are still some great marksmen that could be picked up from Cloud9 to definitely deal some damage. I mean, you have pretty much everything on the table, actually. You have the carry, you have the Claude for survivability, you have the Natan. If they want to throw that back into the mix, it's definitely a viable option. The Alice, you know, we've seen the Alice even dominate inside of the gold lane, and I hope to be able to see another Alice today from either side. We are going to see this glue, though, picked up by Nas. We saw him showcase it earlier in the regular season. We're going to see how this kind of goes up against this Phoveus play from Fried Chicken. I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye inside of the XP lane. Chicken wasn't really able to get online last game. I feel like the Katat was kind of forced into his hands, and he just had to play the best he could on it. But this time he has a lot more prio with the draft, and I expect him to be a lot more comfortable. But I feel like Nasty picks up this glue for a reason. He can kind of hug and harass and not have to really go back too much, especially with the split, and he could possibly target even Mobazane when he tries to go in for these neutral objectives. And that was really what the threat was the entire game. The neutral objective plays from Cloud9 was just overshadowing BTK entirely.
Yeah, I feel like BTK has to ban out the Hayabusa here. If they don't, I just feel like at this point it's like if you're gonna ban best player, ban best player, right? Like now they're switching over to the Nolan. Last game I think they banned the Hayabusa. I think they should have banned the Nolan as well. If you're gonna try to dig into best player, there you go. Ban the Hayabusa. See what best player is gonna bring to the field now, and I think that's the right play. Stretch him to his limits. Look for that. If that's the target, they're gonna go. And it's not like this is the first time we've ever seen junglers get banned out. We've seen it happen to Mobazane back in the tank meta. I think BTK knows the big problem here. I think a lot of people know what the big problem is, and I think that is going to be your answer to it facing against C9 right now.
Yeah, so is this when the Bane comes out? And that's what I'm probably expecting here. Oh, the Roger.
The Roger.
Oh, the Roger. Okay. But you know what? This may open up the opportunity. I'm probably not going to see Basic run a traditional ADC then inside of the gold lane, since you do have the Marksman Roger running inside of the jungle. He may go in for a mage. He may go in for that Alice that we kind of talked about to deal some threat and have a little bit of that life steal. Nonetheless, though, the Roger's definitely something that we haven't got to see, at least in the past few days for the NACT, but it's been effective overall in the regular season. Able to have the like and pounce, able to be aggressive super early. As long as they kind of pick their battles and wait for BTK to get low on that HP, that's when Roger comes out sniffing for blood. It's going to have to be something that the Bloodthirsty Kings watches out for as well. They're going to have to kind of be a little bit more decisive when they engage in the early game.
Yeah, and even though there's a chance, like we see this in the, most likely we see it in the jungle, it's still very possible it could get flexed over, right? There's still a lot of C9 still kind of saves this last pick for Basic just in case they want to do a cheeky swap here at the end. But there goes the Cho pick. There goes the Valentine, or no, the Lunox pick for Hoon in mid, which I did say I want to see more damage from Hoon. This is something that can supply it, but still, it is, you know, we see Lunox so much in the gold lane right now that I mean, I think it's a good pick, but it's definitely going to be slightly different in comfortability of rotations for Hoon.
I like the Lunox because of the brilliance, especially with the Wanwan, right? As soon as Basic gets those weakness points and he procs that brilliance, he'll be just fine. And Basic will not be able to shut him down. So I think it's a smart play, but I'm more looking at Basic on this Wanwan, right? I mean, you have a Cho with the single target CC. You have the Lunox who can kind of counteract that as well. I guess it's because Chicken, he's very, like, when you're running in with the Phobius, he's not the most mobile hero. So when he goes in, your whole team has to go in and engage, or he's going to get picked off. Once he joins that battle, he's not going to be able to get out.
Yeah, I mean, Shark has to be careful about how he goes in as well. From this from the Wanwan and everything. I think the Wanwan was solid. It's definitely still in this place where it's like, is it very good? I think there's some gold laners that are pulling it off, but only time will tell as we jump into game number 2 in a best of 5 of BTK. All right, looks like we got a pause. Heck yeah, Step Wheezy.
We just wanted to say hi to you guys, man. We decided to personally, no, I'm kidding. We didn't, it's out of our control, but while we have some time, let's just kind of break down game number 2, right? Game number 1, Cloud9 is in the lead 1-2-0. BTK needs to find a way to turn this around. They have an interesting draft. I can't wait to see how it's executed. I think the most interesting thing is definitely the Wanwan picked up over there by Basic. You kind of mentioned, is it a staple pick? Is it something that's going to kind of step back into the meta? It hasn't really been that effective. Every time I see it, this NACT, it's not the deciding factor on why a team wins, but maybe Basic is going to show us something different today. But Shark on this Cho, this is going to be something fun to watch.
Yeah, I think Shark on the Cho is definitely a throwback, and there's been times where, you know, when he goes international, we don't see him play it as much. A lot of times he kind of sometimes can whiff on it, but I feel like he's a player that at home, he does amazing. I've always liked Shark on the Cho, so I'm excited to see how he pulls this off. Mark Cutie's gonna have to be careful. Best player gonna have to be careful. The only one that's I think is extremely safe from the Cho is probably the Wanwan, just because of the nullification on the crowd control. But we'll see exactly how it plays out as we actually jump into game number 2.
That's right, game number 2. Cloud9 1 point ahead of the Bloodthirsty Kings so far. If we look at game number 1, we got to see Cloud9 be very aggressive with the power of Chip to be able to displace BTK and keep them uncomfortable, allowing Cloud9 to take majority of these objectives. And you're looking at Cold World planning to do possibly the same thing on being aggressive, but Shark on this Cho, ready to go the distance.
Yeah, Shark on the Cho, and even though we see Cloud9 kind of clear up the waves a little bit, Cold World's forced to get away from this, which means Hoon's going to have the advantage in clearing things, and Shark not even worried about it. He's like, he knows his objective, he knows his job, and it is stay in best player's face.
Yeah, I mean, Shark is one of those roamers. He's known to kind of harass the enemy jungle, right? He's known to try and be that NACT that you can't swipe away, and it's been effective. If he can pull that off against Cloud9, it could help ease the way for the Bloodthirsty Kings to be able to take these objectives in the early game. I mean, look at him right now. He's all over the place, even inside of the mid lane. But good separation from Cold World and Marcuti, limiting the damage output provided by him.
Yeah, I mean, and both roamers go for the Concussive Blast. Going to help him out a bit in terms of wave clearing. Going to help him out a bit with a little bit more damage. Something to point out, though, Basic with the Aegis spell here. You know, a lot of times we see Wanwan just go for the Purify, maybe for the Flicker. I don't know if it's something, you know, slightly different idea. It can help him be a little bit more aggressive. Also give a bit more shield to everybody, but a lot of damage coming in the top side.
Ooh, Nat's very low. Need to get out of there. Mobazane able to secure the first blood to take him down. One slight advantage for the early game.
But once again, BTK, control of the laning phase. This is somewhere that they thrive consistently, even against Cloud9, and it's something without the chip, without the easy rotations to keep up, Cloud9 has to be careful for.
Yeah, definitely needing to pick your poison and wait. You don't want to allow Cloud9 to be overly aggressive in the early phase and take the objectives away from Mobazane. We know he thrives on these rotations. To be able to get a kill this early in the game is definitely off to a great start. Look at Zia, though, on the bot side. Some good zonage up against Basic.
Honestly, I feel like when it comes to the 1v1, Zia has been getting the better of Basic a bit, and this has been kind of like the grudge match between these two. When it comes to, you know, gold medals, NACT, I think we're at a point that Basic has gotten a bit more, has gotten, you know, the higher champ stats, but Zia wants to prove that he's the best gold laner in NA, and some people will tell you two different things. You know, it depends on, you know, who you're shipping, what boat you're on right now. But currently in these two games, when it comes down to the 1v1, Zia has been getting the better.
Yeah, speaking of getting the better, Nat caught out of position again and quickly punished by Fried Chicken, finding his second death of the game. Both sides going out the way. The Dragon connecting. Mobazane will take down best player. 2 members down for Cloud9, extending the lead 3-0.
Okay, beautiful plays. They find Nats. Not only that, they get a great way of the Dragon, but more damage coming up under the tower.
Yeah, Marcuti and Cold World left to defend against 4 members of the Bloodthirsty Kings. Able to take down the minions. Drops a Guardian's Barrier as well, trapping Hoon. Able to sidestep back to safety, but not able to push into that tier 3 turret.
As Shark goes back to base, we'll give a little bit of space for Cloud9 to regain some ground. Bloodwings do just get locked in for Mobazane. He's 2-0-1. He's doing exactly what we saw last time. Let's take a look at this play. Nat's taken out, and watch for this way of Dragon coming from Shark. He goes for best player, brings him back in, and that is pretty much it for best player. There's no escape. He tries to like and pounce, but it's not enough. You know, there was a nerf that came in onto the Roger, and it's one of the reasons why we haven't seen him be as critical as a pick as we used to. The like and pounce, I mean, the ult just isn't as good as he used to be. Roger just not doing as much as he used to. And in the past, even when the Roger was jungle, we would see a lot of time double fighter off lane. So I feel like having ooh, wait a second, Fly Chicken in trouble?
Yeah, Demonic Force dropping down, forcing out the brilliance from Marcuti back to safety. Mobazane, with all the chaos, will be able to get the turtle. 2 turtles for the Bloodthirsty Kings.
All right, so yeah, as I was saying, I feel like best player may have been in better hands if Basic got the Ruby Gold, right? If they had the double fighter off lane. But seeing that they don't have as strong as a front line this time, just the glue and the grok, it could be a problem for best player. Taking a look at the items, though, I want to focus back on Mobazane. He's 2-0-1. He's got the Bloodwings. He's 4K. He's 1.5 ahead of best player.
Ooh, speaking of best player, a hit with the G-Kundo and away the Dragon and shut down by Zia. Nas may be next if he's not careful. Forces out the split push, split, and also a tier 3 turret in BTK's favor.
All right, so BTK 4-0, 4K gold lead on top of that 4, up against Cloud9. Wave control, lane control. They've taken the first tower of the game. It's looking similar to last time, and I mean last week, but this time, I think as long as they can make sure Basic doesn't make any cheeky off-lane side pushes, you know, if they can control the macro, BTK will be okay here.
Yeah, you are going to see Basic forced to rotate to the top side now. Going to be going up against Fried Chicken on this Phobius. I wonder if he's going to stay there or if Zia is going to rotate to go up against him. But right now, you can definitely tell BTK is in control of this early game. Some quick rotations, a lot of objectives working in their favor, and have found no deaths on top of that. Pretty much a flawless game. Highest kills going over to Mobazane himself.
Yeah, I feel like with the way that the kills have gone, the three players we need to watch on Cloud9 to try to make the turnaround are going to be Mark Cutie, Cold World, Basic, right? Mark Cutie and Basic for the damage, but wait, Nat's in trouble once again. Taken out.
Hoon will be able to shut him down. That's Nat's third death so far in this game. BTK climbing with this lead, a snowball in the making, and Cloud9 needs to be careful or it's going to roll on top of them.
The Shark's been so aggressive on this show, man. 3 assists right now. 3 out of the 5 kills he's had a huge part of. And as I said, luckily Basic Mark Cutie hasn't taken a kill because that's, I think at this point, best player's out, right? Best player is essentially out of commission. I don't know how he's going to be the big turnaround. Mark Cutie and Basic are going to have to step up, but BTK, they're in the same shoes that Cloud9 had last game. BTK just need to play solid. They need to control lanes. They need to take towers and keep on moving forward.
And speaking of that, Zane on the same wavelength will take to tier 3 on the top side. Only a tier 3 standing in the mid lane. If they can push that in, they should be able to invade more comfortably onto the side of Cloud9's map. Zia, a little bit of displacement. 3 members make that 4 of Cloud9 on his tail. Given everything they've got, the split.
Yeah.
The tank comes out. He's still alive. Mark Cutie. The finishing touches will take him down. Who will find Cold World to respond back? But my God, Zia was holding on for dear life.
Gold Lane Ruby is disgusting. Can we just all admit the fact of that right now? It does a great amount of damage. Its sustainability is off the charts. It doesn't make any sense. And I think this Ruby may end up actually being the big trade factor between these two teams. The Ruby and the Gold Lane may be the big game changer for whoever gets it.
Yeah, definitely need some answers for Cloud9 right now. 6-2-1 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Warax for Zia, speaking of him, he's 6,000 gold. He's closing in on a 2,000 above Basic right now. Basic's got the Scythe, he just got the DHS. But when we take a look at Zia, he's coming in on the 3rd item right now. He also has the boots. He's just got a strong lead, and you pair that up with the Way of the Dragon.
Yeah, it does connect onto Nats, forced out the split. You are going to see Cold World forced to use that wild charge for the knockup to allow Nats to get back to safety. BTK just forcing Cloud9's hand right now. I mean, look at them now invading into their jungle, denying all the farm they can. Holy Crystal as well, picked up by Zane for some additional magic power.
Yeah, I mean, Zane being 2-0-3, just like what we saw from Best Player last game, Zane is even scaring off the tanks on the side of Cloud9. Nat's taking those 3 deaths at 9 minutes in. He's not really able to hold down the front line, and every time he tries to dive in, Shark is there ready to give him a swift kick to the face. I mean, and Shark is ready to give a swift kick to the face to anybody right now. Best Player doesn't feel safe. Nats doesn't feel safe. Shark is all around the map, and speaking of him, here he goes once again.
Yeah, both sides fighting on the orange buff. The Terrify connects onto Shark. Looks like they are still going to go in for it. Zane able to deny the orange buff from Best Player. Now the battle may be on the way for the tier 3 in the mid lane. Hoon ready to take the fight. Zia is going to connect with a lot of crowd control, but Cloud9 able to hold off that turret. Look at the Lord on the top side, though. This is going to buy BTK some time to be able to push in even further and take down the tier 2s. You're looking at the bot side, Chicken already in position to be able to take it.
No. Lord's going to be coming in. Cloud9 should be able to defend this. They have 2 marksmen. They have a lot of damage, but look at the damage on a Cold World.
Ooh, Zia will be able to take the tier 3 turret in the mid lane on top of all this engagement. Lord does get bursted down, but you are going to see the tier 2 fall alongside it. Chicken finds the tier 2 on the bot side. You find the one on the mid as well by Zia, and now the inhibitors are all that's standing for Cloud9. Not a single turret has fallen for the Bloodthirsty Kings.
And the big thing for BTK here is because they haven't lost any of those turrets, it's a lot harder for Cloud9 to try to macro this, right? it's a lot harder for them to make those sneaky plays. And last time, Basic had the Claude, which is a lot more slippery of a hero. They also had Best Player on a much more mobile Assassin. Taking a look at the items, though, and speaking of Best Player, he's just hitting the 6K mark. He is far, far behind. Even Shark is sitting at 4,800 right now, keeping his grounds. He's got the Thunderbelt in. He builds half magic, half physical. He's able to have enough defense, and nobody's really packing a punch just yet on the side of Cloud9.
Even Mobazane's level 15 compared to Best Player at level 12 at the 11-minute mark, now trickling to the mid game, and it's looking like the end game with the pace that BTK is performing on. Speaking of pace, the purple buff on the way, the wild charge forced from Cold World back into the mid lane to safety, and another denial and an evasion play by BTK, allowing Mobazane to take the purple buff.
Even though they don't get a kill there, since they get the purple buff, it's huge for the side of BTK, right? Now at this point, Mobazane goes farm some of his own jungle. They got 22 seconds to kill, sit in some bushes, eat some snacks, and wait for Cloud9 at this point. Cloud9, what is the answer, Wheezy?
The answer is being a little bit more passive. I feel like they're getting too far behind to take these engagements, and with all the objectives stacked in BTK's favor, this is where they thrive, right? They're in their natural element. You are going to see this Lord spawn in, though. Luminous Lord now in effect, and you're already seeing Mobazane quickly heading over to it. Cloud9, they're looking like they're focusing more on the split push, trying to find some type of opportunity to open up this map. They're not even going to be able to make it to this Lord. The only thing they can do right now is defend.
I mean, with Best Player being level 12, too, below Zane, it's like you can't even really go for the Retry battle, right? Cloud9, the only way they could get the Retry win, honestly, is if they get a big stun onto Mobazane. And the problem is Cold World and Nats, their two big stunners, aren't able to get in without getting shredded down. So BTK, unless they make some huge whiff here, right? Unless they make some big mistake, it does feel very comfortable in their hands. They do, I will say, there is a clock on this, right? They do need to, you know, finish this game. I think even if they don't finish it in this Lord, I think third Lord is going to be extremely important if they're not able to finish it here, because after third, once we get to fourth and fifth, Cloud9 starts to max out on items. Everyone starts to hit that level 15 mark, and the game starts to slowly even out instead of becoming more and more of an advantage to BTK.
And we're going to figure out if they can close it out here. You are going to see the Luminous Lord take down the inhibitor on the top side. The base has been open for Cloud9, left to defend, and BTK on a possible push. They don't have the minions in the mid lane, though, so it's going to kind of delay them engaging on this play for a possible ender, and the Lord will be bursted down by Cloud9.
I love this little Mark Cutie and Zia there. They're both standing. Mark Cutie knows he's in range of the I'm offended, but Zia knows he has the Purify, and they're both trying to kind of bait out the other skill, but Zia's not falling for it.
Ooh, and you're going to see the inhibitor fall on the bot side. Best Player doing his best, trying to stop the Bloodthirsty Kings, but their synergy is coming alive. It feels like they're decoding Cloud9 right now for game number 2. The Wild Charge play, though. Best Player will make the most out of the setup, takes down Zia the way the Dragon for the knockup. Hoon finds Best Player to respond. Basic finds Shark. Members dropping for both sides, 2-1. Mobazane will find Basic, evening it out, 2-2. Demonic Force Zane finding Cora with the hand chains. Demonic Force from Chicken. Hoon! Single Vision will find Mark Cutie. A full wipeout, and the Bloodthirsty Kings will secure victory in game number 2 to even out this series against Cloud9. A full decoding and a flawless victory.
All right, Wheezy, feels like every time we... I love Zane coming up to the camera real quick. look at this guy. He knows. He's watching. He's like, I'm watching you guys. I see you, Zane. I see you. Now, I feel like Zane, Hoon, and Shark really... Zane, Hoon, and Fried Chicken really stepped up their game that time. All of them, I think, going deathless in that match. All of them holding down the front lines. And even though Fried Chicken didn't get a whole bunch of kills, he got 8 assists, and he was continuously putting pressure onto Basic and the rest of the team.
Yeah, and that was just some great execution, right? I mean, it's like they went back to the drawing board and they found a whole nother answer for Cloud9, and they actually might have found the answer for Cloud9 with how well they performed right there. We got to see how Cloud9 kind of responds to this now, right? I mean, I don't think that even they expected such a domination from the Bloodthirsty Kings in game number 2. This kind of reminds me of week 2 of the regular season when both of these teams faced off, and even though it was 3-1, when me and you were casting together, there was multiple times when BTK was actually in the advantage, and we thought they were going to be able to close out the game, but they just weren't able to do it. It looks like they've learned from that mistake, and they were able to close it out this time. So I'm seeing a lot of improvement, and I'm looking forward to seeing both of these teams face off in the third game.
Yeah, I think BTK learned from their lesson last time, and it's just told themselves, listen, if we got a big gold lead, if we're down to like that second, third Lord, we need to try to end game, right? We don't want to give Cloud9 the chance for them to, you know, get enough control in the map where they can macro a little bit, get enough control in the map where they can push us back. And even with Zia makes a little mistake on that last engage there, right? He finally pops his I'm offended, doesn't connect onto anybody, and Cloud9 takes that moment to try to attack back. I'm sure we'll see it in the replays once we get to him, but there's a big moment that I want to kind of highlight there that BTK still kind of overcomes. And we're going to jump into these highlights. You can take us through some of the beginning, Wheezy.
Yeah, just both sides clashing it out, but overall still working in the Bloodthirsty King's favor. We really didn't get to see best player get online with this Roger, who's supposed to be very early, super aggressive, but not able to find the opportunity. Shark, there it goes. The way the Dragon setups were just very hard to deal with, on top of having this Phobius pickup by Fried Chicken. There goes another way of the Dragon. It's just a full Shark highlight montage right now for game number 2. Every time he got a setup with the way of the Dragon, it led to a kill.
Yeah, and the fact that they bullied down onto NACT so much that game completely nullified the front line that C9 wanted to bring, was just huge. Zia does. I think this is his only death, but even here, look how long he survives for 4 members of Cloud9 on top of him, and Hoon also. But here we go. I'm pretty sure Zia, he had just used his I'm offended right there, missed, and this is when Cloud9 jumps on him. They do get the kill, but then the rest of BTK responds back. A big way of the Dragon, able to get the kill onto best player there. Fried Chicken starts popping off, and even though Basic is getting a bunch of free shots, it's just not enough, and Fried Chicken is just ult, demonic force, demonic force, demonic force, and there was just no answer for the tankiness and damage that BTK brought to those fights.
I'll tell you what, nothing's more satisfying than using a Phobius with a demonic force, man. It's like a slam dunk cam on repeat. But, you know, something that you did make a point on was Nats in that game. We just didn't really get to see him show up and get very comfortable like we've seen in the regular season or even in game number 1. On the glue, it just didn't really hit like I think he expected it to, and it got Chicken to be able to get online very early and be very effective. So I'm starting to think that their game plan is to get Nas uncomfortable, as he's possibly the momentum driver for the side of Cloud9, but we're going to have to see how Cloud9 responds to this. Now they are first in the draft. You're seeing the Belleric
they better
banned out here, which is a little interesting. But yeah, I would have said maybe a chip ban maybe on the way. There's still Assassins on the table, though. I mean, you still have the Nolan, which could be working their favor. The Hayabusa still up for grabs. The Julian maybe picked up again for the 3rd time for the Bloodthirsty Kings.
All right, so BTK switch it up from game 1. This time they are back on red side. So far, it's 100% to the blue side. If BTK wants to win this best of 5, they need to win a red side match, right? They have to, at some point, win out on this red side. Let's see if this one's the possibility. With Chip being out, C9 first pick, do they lock in that Valentina again? It seems to be kind of a comfort pick for them. Or do they go for the Ruby? Because right now, it is a power play for both teams.
I would definitely go for the Ruby. I feel like just the fact that it can be flexed into 3 different roles has been huge. This is another big pick, though, that was a problem. The Jushin has been such a threat with Cloud9. I feel like that was one of the reasons why they were able to secure game number 1. Just the pressure from Marcuti. We didn't really get to see Hoon get comfortable going up against it. So they are going to have to watch out for that. But that allows a lot of picks to be slotted in for BTK. They could pick up the Phobius again alongside the Ruby. They could get their Julian here. And I don't think best player is going to take the Julian, so I don't know if they're really going to prio it here. I would definitely go in possibly for the Ruby and the Phobius play, or even the Khalid. But I don't know. You know what I'm noticing? The Khalid's not banned out, but it's also not picked. And I think it's just research based on
There's something we don't know.
No, we know because like yesterday, we got to see a lot of counters to it. So there's a lot of vulnerabilities, and they're not going to even take the risk on top of that. There goes the Phobius pickup, and here's the Mathilda that I expected to see a lot during the playoffs, but this is a debut.
Yeah, what I like about this Matilda, too, especially against the Jushin, is you have a lot more ability to kind of dance in and out. You have the ability to get your team away from that Lantern Flare, and you're able to kind of get around the zoning that Marcuti wants to bring in. This is what I was worried about. You said the best player might not pick the Julian, but I had a feeling we might see it, honestly, because I'm like, well, they keep on banning out best player. Mobazane keeps picking Julian. Why not just take the Julian? And now BTK is like, okay, what do we go for? They still have the Bane, maybe a possibility, but a nice Cho pick. Because I was thinking, in my mind, I'm like, all right, what could BTK pick? They went for the Matilda instead, but C9 kind of flipping the script on him right now.
Man, best player, if you don't let this man pick up his Julian, this should just be illegal right now. But yeah, they're gonna go ahead and deny it. I mean, hey, it works almost as effectively as a ban does. If you can't ban it, just pick it. But that's gonna force Zane to pick up the Nolan here, or the Bane pickup, possibly on the way before they do jump into the second phase of the draft. There goes the Bane pickup right there, a debut Bane on top of that. So we're excited to see it nonetheless. But there has been a threat, and that has been this Cho. We've just seen it work out so well. This time it's gonna be Cold World using the Cho, not Shark, so we'll be able to see if he can get the job done as well with the way the Dragon plays. But I'm liking the way the draft looks for both sides. You're looking at BTK, you have a Bane, it's very push-oriented, you're able to burst down these turrets with ease, you're able to rotate across the map, you have a little bit of a range with the Crab Claw Cannon and on top of that. And then, hey, when things get a little tricky, even when you can be overly aggressive, you have a Matilda to get you back to safety with the guiding win.
So, I mean, there's so much matchups between these two teams. It's like so many players fighting to be like, I'm the #1 in NA. Even between Cold World and Shark at this point, the Cho going back and forth. We saw Cold World play an amazing Cho last week against BTK. So we know he's got that way of the dragon. He's got the moves and grooves on him, man. On the side of C9, I think, do they ban out the Ruby here, right? Do they ban out? Because the Ruby could be a beautiful answer to the Cho here. Could be a good answer to the Julian as well. Ruby gold lane could definitely be solid. A little bit more boxing around Mobazane on this Bane, because Mobazane's definitely going to be a prime target. You don't get any flickers on the Bane, right? You're forced with the Retchery. You're not a very movable. Yes, you have the Deadly Catch to disengage, but when you have so many things to kind of counter you, like the Cho, like the Jushin, the Zone, to just kite, you have a lot of things that can give Mobazane trouble here. I think they need a little more protection on him.
They could throw the Ruby in there. I think it would be, if they want to play for the survivability aspect, it definitely can work in their favor. But if they want to throw in something that has a little bit more push potential, they could also throw in the Claude. I mean, especially up against a dive-oriented composition. You have the Cho who's going to rush in with the way of the Dragon. You have the BMI to be able to get back to safety. I think both of them are excellent reads. I do think that the Ruby could be huge here, though, because they are lacking in the crowd control department. But there goes the Ruby ban out, so they aren't going to be able to slot that in for game number 3. But there's still a lot of marksmen on the table. Actually, every single marksman is up for grabs right now. And BTK has prio to be able to decide exactly what they want to do with that. We got to see what the plan is, though, for Cloud9, right? We saw Chicken. He was on fire with this Phobius, and he just didn't show up, at least for game number 2. The glue did not work the way I think he thought it would work up against the Phobius, and I think he picked it because it would be a potential counter. So now we got to see what's his response for game number 3. Does he have an answer for Chicken on the Phobius?
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one, right? I think the Phobius is a power hitter, and with the Gatot, the high-low, so many things being gone, the Ruby gone. I mean, Nats could still go for something comforting, you know, like the Khalid, go for something comforting, like the Arlot, something that can maybe bully around Mobazane again. Huno picks up this Eve pick, and he seems to be one of the only mages in NACT right now going for it. But again, with the composition that BTK wants to bring here, having all these physical hitters, the Eve can set up the box, and BTK just plays in it. There goes the Khalid pick for C9. All they need now is their gold laner.
The Khalid is back in action, and what better way to fight it out than against a Phobius? There's going to be fireworks inside of the XP lane for game number 3. Nats didn't show up, but this time he's going to have a little bit of a heavier hitter on his side. I can't wait to see how that engagement goes between both of North America's finest XP laners. There goes the Claude we talked about. This is going to go to the side of Cloud9, and I feel like the reason for that is there's 2 reasons for that. One is to deny Cloud9 or BTK from being able to pick that up. 2 is to be able to use the BMI to get back to safety, especially when you have the RWM dropping down from Hoon. You know that entire grid square, it can lock you down with the crowd control and can be very hard to get out of. So a marksman that can play for survivability is going to be huge here. And BTK, they're going to do the same thing. Just like Claude with the survivability with the BMI, you have the entropy from this Natan to be able to get back to safety as well. So this is some really good matchups. The gold lane is going to be great, and the XP lane matchup is going to be great. We got to see how both of these sides play it out.
Yeah, I do really like Cloud9's draft here. I think the Khalid, the Raging Sandstorm, could be very scary against Hoon, could be very scary against Mobazane, against this big clumped up composition that BTK wants to bring. BTK, on the other hand, even now with the Natan, a very late game hero, the Bane, pretty late game. Yes, there is some potential that if they get a couple kills early on, as BTK likes to do, they can put themselves in an early start. But overall, Cloud9, this composition from them just feels very Cloud9. You know, like Basic gets the Claude. You have the Assassin on best player. You have you have a very fast moving hero for Nats, very all over the map. It feels like what they normally like to bring.
We're going to see which team will be able to execute their composition according to plan as we jump into game number 3 for the upper bracket finals of the North America Challenger Tournament. Who will be able to take this series in their favor?
Definitely going to be up on the map. Cloud9 with Cold War on the show. I mean, just overall with a lot of Cloud9 picks, it's very fast moving, heavy rotations, lots of zoning, lots of single target pressure. I mean, just Cloud9 has definitely, I feel like, brought a pretty scary composition. BTK does have answers though, so let's see exactly how it plays out.
Yeah, they definitely have answers, but I'm right with you. Cloud9 can be very aggressive a lot earlier than BTK can. You're going to have to wait for Zia to get online with this Natan. But they have a lot of survivability working inside of BTK's favor. Speaking of survivability.
Bro, it doesn't matter who's on the show, right? It is just a pain. It doesn't matter who it is. It is a pain. BTK forced to kind of take the long route. Hoon hovering down in the mid side. Let's take a look at some of the emblems. Nothing too crazy across the map. Everything pretty basic. And overall, no big offlane ganks just yet.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary so far. You've seen the quantum charges picked up as well for more maneuverability and movement speed from Zia, and as well as basic. Right now, though, I mean, Cloud9, I wonder how the first turtle is going to come into effect, right? I mean, they do have a more aggressive composition, but Zane, he has range. He's running on this Bane and is very objective focused, not to mention they have the sustainability from Shark on the Matilda.
Yeah, with the Matilda, they have a lot of ways to at least engage and disengage, which I think will be very helpful with kind of getting out of this Lantern Flare, with getting away from the Khalid, with dodging away from the Cho. There's definitely the possibilities there, but here comes a big engage. Down comes the real world manipulation. Nats both caught in a best player, able to get that turtle, and now Hoon a little bit of trouble. Way the Dragon does connect, brings him back, and Hoon goes down. First blood over to Nats.
Ooh, that's going to hurt Hoon a lot. And now the invasion play on the purple buff.
Uh-oh, a lot of damage. Does lock on to Mobazane. Mobazane trying to fight back, though. Waiting for the Crab Claw Clan to come out. Purple buff does look like it goes over to Mobazane there. Yes, he is able to just secure it. Best player now in a little bit of trouble as Fried Chicken brings down the Demonic Force. More damage stacking on. Fried Chicken trying to chase as well, but he does not have the Circling Eagle, so they can't get the full engage.
The sidestep from Nats right there, barely evading Fried Chicken on the escape and also helping Kite and bring back members to safety as best player was in a little bit of a pinnacle right there. Right now, 1 kill on the board for Cloud9 and also a turtle to work in their favor. Definitely a different story from game number 1. I mean, even when we saw the in-game stats, there was 11 objectives to 0 in BTK's favor. And now it's starting to look like Cloud9 is starting to get a little bit more composure as we jump into game number 3. As we've seen some of the items on the board, nothing really hot and heavy right now. You are going to see the Elegant Gem picked up by the Juicin, though. A lot of mana regen can definitely work in his favor to be able to sustain himself in this fight. There goes the Feather of Heaven, though. First core item picked up over there by Zia on the bot side, who is slightly behind in the economy compared to Basic on this Claude, as you are seeing him definitely not afraid to take the fight and go the distance with the survivability.
Ooh, look at the damage on Mobazane, though. Best player. And Nats paired up with a Raging Sandstorm. BTK definitely falling behind in the early phase, and this was the worry with their composition. It definitely feels late game. At this point, BTK needs to just kind of hang on. Wait for the spikes to hit. Wait till Mobazane is actually outputting the damage. Wait until Z is outputting the damage. Basic definitely in control of the gold lane. More damage, though, locking on in this EXP side. Fried Chicken and Shark, man, are going to kind of have to, I think, be the pillars here to help BTK sustain the punches that Cloud9 wants to bring.
Yeah, speaking of punches, the battle for the turtle on the way.
Yeah, Turtle is brought low. Best player still able to secure. The RWN does drop, and C9 just disengages. We don't care about it. Again, C9, when they're in the lead like this, they don't want to take the big fights. They want to take the objectives.
Yeah, and that is exactly what they're doing right now. 2 turtles on their side, 2 kills as well. Even though they're not having a high kill game, we know just how impactful these small victories can be. And Cloud9 definitely comfortable right now for game number 3. We need to see how BTK responds. At least one thing that works in the Bloodthirsty Kings' favor is they have a late game composition. But Cloud9, they understand that, and they're going to be aggressive. They're going to harass Mobazane. They're going to try and deny every single objective from being claimed to get an early finish.
And they're able to do that, right? Especially with Cold World on the show. They're able to stay in BTK's face. And even if they don't take the orange buff, even if they don't take the purple buff from Mobazane, they still slow him down. And with that, we're seeing Best Player being 3 levels ahead of Mobazane right now. We're seeing him holding a decent gold lead. We're seeing Cloud9 starting to escape. We are coming down to the 6-7 minute mark. BTK will hit a power spike at some point. Cloud9 wants to stop it. A lot of damage, enhanced chains, big knockup. Zane goes down first. Fried Chicken now also in trouble, brings out the demonic force, trying to survive, trying to hang on, trying to do anything, but Best Player still secures the double kill. And now Cloud9 onto the tier 3 tower.
A big win in Cloud9's book right there. Able to shut down Mobazane. He's finding his 2nd death of this game. Chicken, that will be his 1st as well. Hoon falling even earlier in the match. This is going to delay that late game power spike that BTK is kind of leaning in on, and it's going to keep checking off these objectives for the side of Cloud9 for a possible early finish if they're not careful. Mobazane now going to try and get this purple buff. Look at Nats. He's just harassing, just providing that pressure. Basic able to take the tier 3 turret on the top side, leaving only the tier 3 in the mid for the taking. Right now, it's just a game of chess, and it's looking like Cloud9 is 1 step ahead of the Bloodthirsty Kings, and it's very hard for them to take these fights, right? I mean, they're super aggressive. They're dive oriented, but they also have a lot of mobility. Not with Cho into the hands of Cold World, with Basic on the BMI, with Nas able to use that sand in his favor. It's a hard team to catch out of position, and they don't really have heavy crowd control to work in their favor for BTK.
And another big problem, right? That Jushin, man. That Jushin, that Lantern Flare is the bane of Bane's existence right now. Because normally Bane does okay on some of those turtles. He's able to sit up, wait to pop off that deadly catch right before it's time to hit the retry. And here comes Cold World, though, with a beautiful way the Dragon paired up with a Raging Sandstorm into the tower, and Best Player gets another kill, plus a tower. And now Shark, Fried Chicken, Hoon just want to defend, but C9 already output the damage. And look at Basic already up to the top side. Nats, though, takes a nice shot from Mobazane, but Mobazane doesn't overcommit, cannot get the kill.
Yeah, and another turret will fall. Basic takes the tier 2 on the top side. Overall, Cloud9 will win that trade, but they lose the tier 3 on the bottom.
Oh, Mobazane in trouble. Does bite the dust on that one. Basic pops off the Blazing Duet just to make sure there's no escape. Minions will be coming soon, and Cloud9 are not letting up on the gas.
Yeah, Zane now 0-3-0, off to a rough start. Hoon right behind him, 0-2-0. BTK yet to put a kill on the board or claim a single objective. -1 turret in this entire game. Starlight Requiem picked up by Zia as well. This has just been such a great game for Cloud9. Picking up Zane's Julian and using it against him. Best Player looking like going for that MVP. 4-0-2, highest kills in the game, and outscaling Zane up by 3 levels. You're looking at a gold difference of 8,000 at the 8-minute mark. That's like 1,000 gold per minute.
And Basic just finished the Trinity build, right? Just got in that Corrosion Scythe, went for it as his 3rd. And with that, Basic is going to start. I mean, it's been more of a Best Player, Mark Cutie, Cold World, Nats. Now Basic really starts to get involved in this. He's going to be the one who can really shred down Fried Chicken here. He's going to be the one who can really help out in a lot of these fights. And BTK is getting put more into a corner. We're still waiting on Zia to come online. He's got the Starlium Scythe in, Feather of Heaven, but I still think he needs about 1, maybe even 2 more items, because by the time he gets 3, everyone else on Cloud9 is going to have 4 or 5. So it's going to be a while until Zia can really output what they need him to.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a rough game for the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings. Forced down to their inhibitor turrets. We haven't even passed the 10-minute mark, and Cloud9 has responded very strong to their performance in game number 2 with BTK's domination. It's been a match of ping pong between both sides, but with this Lord now marching through the mid lane, it's an opportunity for Cloud9 to make this base be opened in their favor. You're looking at BTK trying to defend, trying to hold them off, but can they do it?
I don't know. BTK is pushed up against the wall. Cold World goes in for the big kick, able to lock on. Mobazane goes down. He's the first to drop. Hoon finds Cold World. It's a 1-for-1. Lord still on the tower. Inhibitor still up, though. Cloud9 tries to re-switch, rewind, move up to the top side. Best player able to find the inhibitor. Now BTK under the base. And as we know, C9 might not back off just yet. Another wave of minions coming down the mid. Fly Chicken holding the front. Nats does not have the Raging Sandstorm, so BTK doesn't have to watch out for that just yet. Basic going to the backside with a Blazing Duet. Outputting the damage on a Fly Chicken. BMI's back, and another one goes down. It's Shark on the block. Nats now moving in. Mobazane back up onto the map to help defend. Mobazane should be able to clear away these waves. Cloud9 might not be able to end it just yet, but if they can get another inhibitor, it is a big plus. Are they staying too long? They're all able to dodge the deadly catch. Fly Chicken finally gets rid of this cannon minion, and BTK are here for another day.
No, but minions are still coming in. Cloud9 is not done yet.
Now watch for Cold World. He does have the Way of the Dragon in his pocket right now. One big pick could be the game changer. One big kick could change it all. Cold World does have to go back. A little bit too much damage. BTK finally starting to output a little bit.
All right, this is that late game that we're starting to see, right? We're only at the 10-minute mark, but they're starting to be able to do a little bit of damage. Yeah, you are going to see that Feather Heaven, Starlight Requiem, Arcane Boots picked up over there by Zia. Man, this is a battle that BTK will have to fight. They need to find a way to turn this around. They're only holding on to an inhibitor on the bot side. 11 minutes in. Cloud9 off to a great way to keep this series in their favor, regain their control after being dominated in game number 2. Basic, we talked about a ticking time bomb on this Claude. He's got that core Trinity build. He's definitely going to be hitting like a truck. And that's something that BTK is going to have to watch out for. Zia just a little bit behind him in terms of the economy. But you are looking at best player. He's already level 15, highest in the game. Zane right behind him at 13. Right now, though, they're forced into the base. I don't even think they could really engage on this next Lord. It'd be a very risky play if they decide to. And right now, you're seeing them kind of hugging the base. You're seeing Cloud9 rotating toward the Lord pit. And the lane's currently still in Cloud9's favor.
I like the way the Cloud9 is freezing up the lanes, though, right? It helps them, you know, stop BTK from getting a little bit more gold. They're going to rush down on this Lord now, and BTK can't even really contest it. And look at Basic, man. He's like, I'm just going to hang out here, get my stacks up, get my passive stacks up, keep on first skilling this, this creep camp right here. And when it's time, I will be ready to clear out the waves and make this big attack.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Zia. Like, Zia is really going to have to get online and fast. They're running out of time and options and insurance, considering they only have one inhibitor turret. But this is the Bloodthirsty Kings we're talking about, right? I mean, if Zia can start hitting, that's when it's going to be a problem. And that's something that Cloud9 does not want to take lightly. And then on top of that, the heals from Shark are going to start to pick up. But with a Luminous Lord on the side of Cloud9 and the lanes currently synced in the full 5-man team push, Cloud9's looking to close this out at the 13-minute mark.
Watch for the big Raging Sandstorm from Nats. Does not fully connect, though. The RWM does come out with the Lord already onto the base. They got to stop Basic. They got to stop Cold World. They got to stop Cloud9. But they can't. Cloud9 takes game number 3.
And able to advance even further in this series, now up 2-1 against the Bloodthirsty Kings. They said don't count them out just yet. In game number 2, we didn't have a plan, but game number 3, we came prepared. 9-2-23 on the KDA, but overall the objectives is what we want to focus on. They were able to take pretty much everything with ease and shut down BTK for game number 3.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, as we've gone back and forth, all 3 games have just kind of been a stomp for the winning team, and this time C9 are the ones with their boots on, right? Taking a look at Nats, taking a look at Basic. I mean, taking a look at everyone on the team. They all played phenomenal, but once again, best player goes 5-0-3, and when best player is having a good game, his team's having a good game. And I mean, the same could be said for BTK. Last time when Mobazane was having a good game, his team was having a good game. So a lot of this coming down to a battle of the junglers. Who can get one that can hang out in the fray and make sure they get these retries off?
Yeah, it really is just boiling down to who can get these turtles and who can get these buffs. who can be more on the invasion side and not the reactionary side trying to defend. It's like the offense is what's kind of shining more when it comes to both of these teams clashing it out. And this time we'll work on Cloud9's side. Just a lot of damage taken from both sides as well. It's a rough one, right? It's like, if you can take these turtles, the snowball effect is just very hard to come back from. We have yet to see it. It's like pretty much if you take 2-3 turtles, you're almost guaranteed the game, at least with what we're seeing so far within this series. Now, BTK, we got to see how they respond. I'm pretty sure for game number 4, they are going to have first pick in the draft, so they should be able to possibly form a strategy. But man, just some excellent gameplay from Cloud9 to secure this victory for game number 3.
And taking a look at these replays, C9 was just on top of them all the time. Even Fried Chicken being on a sustainable Phoveus was not enough. And we see C9 once again take the more grouped up route. Take it, so listen, if you want to fight, we can fight. We're gonna pick you off one by one, have 3 or 4 members, jump onto Mobazane, have 3 or more members, jump onto Hoon, jump onto Fried Chicken, and we'll take you out piece by piece.
Yeah, able to break it down like a Kit Kat. Right there, Cloud9 able to open up the base, and then right here they went in for the killer, for the finish, and BTK just too far behind in the economy. I mean, you're looking at an 11K difference, right? Look at it, 42,000 gold to 31,000 gold right there at the 13-minute mark. There's not much you can really do there. The damage is just going to outscale you, the defense is going to outscale you, and overall the synergy is going to outscale you. Cloud9, they showed up and they came prepared. This is a different NAS that we've seen as well. He was definitely a lot more online. He picked up the Khalid to go up against the Phoveus, who Phoveus kind of had the spotlight in game number 2 with Chicken. But now with Nats getting a hero that he can be a little bit more aggressive on, it kind of seems like it helped him out in the slightest. But here we go, jumping into game number 4, a potential chance for BTK to even out the series and take us to a game number 5. Hey, I don't know about you, Trex, but I love to see a match go the distance, especially with these two teams.
Yeah, I think especially with these two teams, but I think the question on a lot of our minds is, will Nats, will his prediction reign strong, right? Last time he said 3-1, he got it right. This time it's scary, right? C9, if they take this red side win, they finish it off 3-1, and they still have a strong victory over BTK. BTK in a position where they need to win, and the big worry, I think, for BTK fans is, did C9 just crack the code, right? Picking up the Julian. Does BTK rush it this time, right? Do they rush it? Because I think having the Bane is just a little too late game, man. And if they do go for the Bane again, if they are put back into that position, they need something bursty on Hoon, right? They need something early game bursty on somebody other than Zane, right? Because as we just saw, if best player gets online, if Nats gets online, BTK is not going to be able to make that game go to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, right here, Cloud9 could just ban out the Julian. I mean, because it's going to be rushed by the Bloodthirsty Kings. I would assume so. If not, they're going to probably pick up that Ruby again to be able to flex it into multiple different roles. But I would probably just take out the Julian right here, because when Zane's on it, he's going to perform, but you don't really get to see the same story with a lot of these heroes. They're going to take out that chip, though.
Yeah.
We got to see how effective the chip was. Cloud9 was actually the one who did use the chip, though, against BTK. But BTK with Shark, definitely expect him to be able to do the same exact thing. But this opens up an opportunity. BTK has to make a choice here. Phoveus or Julian?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, where's
No. We still got something for you. They go for the Jushin up first. And big chance we could still see that Valentina Grok pick, but instead they go for the Julian, maybe the Valentina here, Matilda. So more switch up, I mean, from both sides. And honestly, just taking the Julian into their hands is an aggressive play from the side of C9. And Hoon already having to lock in the Jushin means no big burst, early game burst damage from their mid side. So if Mobazane has to go into that Bane again, it's kind of a scary pick when I look at it. So let's see exactly how they play it out, though.
Yeah, this is going to be the Mathilda, though, this time for Cloud9. We got to see it in BTK's hands for game number 3, but it just didn't get online with the heals that they were looking forward to. But with picking up the Mathilda this early, they may actually lock in the Valentina here. I think that's going to be the next pickup, because it'll be able to take the I'm Offended. It's going to put on some draft pressure that can definitely work in their favor. There goes Zane again, forced with that Julian taken away from him to pull out this Bane. It's kind of like Cloud9 is just adding to their notebook, right? They're adding to their notes about forcing Zane's hand. And I mean, hey, to give credit where it's due, BTK was the first one to force out a jungle, right? They forced the Nolan onto best players. So they're kind of throwing their punch right back at them. So speaking of punches, there goes a heavy hitter. The Claude is going to be locked in, showcasing both ADCs, as there goes the Ruby as well for Zia. The Ruby, though, has been very great with the setups with the I'm Offended, pretty much zoning majority of the marksmen's out as well. Even the Claude on top of that, which is a marksman who's very mobile and can hit like a truck, and it's not something you want to take lightly. You're looking at a lot of survivability, though, for both sides.
Yeah, Ruby's just a scary hero, especially in the hands of Zia. Man, Zia plays it phenomenally. I'm excited to see Hoon jump on the Jushin because we haven't really gotten to see him. It's been more of a Marcutie pick over the last day. So I'm excited to see how exactly that works and what they're going to put on Shark to create space for Hoon here and to also be aggressive. Do they just go? Well, no, I was just about to say the Cho, but the Cho is banned out from BTK here. They could go for something like the Lolita, maybe. Something that can kind of bounce back some of those hits from basic. Something maybe a bit more protective, because again, having Mobazane on this Bane means he is just a prime target in the early game, and he needs to not die, right? He needs to be able to get to minute 6 being able to just farm, right? He needs to be able to get to that third turtle, first Lord, being farmed completely, just 0 deaths, having a good game, and that's when we're going to really see the Bane at its full potential.
Yeah, we got to see what's going to be pulled into the XP lane for both sides as well, right? I mean, the R-Lot has yet to be picked up from either side. I would have thought that it would have been showcased a lot more today, but it's kind of nostalgic not being able to see it. Hopefully it does pop up in here, though. I think it'd be an excellent answer. It still could technically work for BTK, right? You mentioned Zane needs to play for survivability. He needs to be able to get to these objectives. He needs somebody to zone out Cloud9 from stopping him, and an R-Lot can do exactly that. You know, another option on the table, actually, never mind, it just got banned out. The Phobius was still on the board. Now, there is a Katat, there is a Khalid as well. Both of these can still be aggressive. We've seen them heavily prioed for majority of these teams. There goes that Aurora pickup, too. Speaking of crowd control, that was something that Cloud9 did not have a lot of, but when you throw the Aurora in the mix, it could definitely work out. They still need, I feel like, a little bit more CC, though. They need a true frontline hero that can zone out BTK, and that's going to put a lot of pressure onto Nats.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pressure on the Nats, unless they just want to take the speed route, right? The fast boy route. They have the Matilda that says, we're just going to be in and out. We're going to attack, disengage. BTK, on the other hand, what I'm worried about BTK here is lack of real damage, right? Having Hoon on the Jushin, having Zane in the Bane, and now going for gold lane Zia. It's like I almost want to see maybe this Ruby flex to EXP and give Zia something with some early game potential. They go, okay. So this is like Godspeed last week. Just all fighters pretty much, except for Hoon, who's on the Jushin. Fly Chicken, though, the damage can come out from the Khalid. He could definitely go hybrid build. He goes for the Thunderbelt first, locks it up, and you'd be surprised how much Katat does as well. So not only do they bring some tankiness, they bring some decent chip damage. So will these unmovable objects be able to take on the speed that C9 is bringing, right? It's definitely two very different compositions going against each other here.
You know what BTK is doing? They're securing the early game. That's all they're worried about. They're just worried about getting these turtles and getting these lords. They're comfortable enough to say that if we get these objectives, we can close it out with an early finish and not have to worry about the late game damage potential that you're kind of hinting on. There goes that CC, though. This is a play by Nats. We got to see it a lot yesterday and in the regular season. He pulls out the CC. He's able to pretty much out-rotate the Khalid and outshine, but this time he's going to be going up against Chicken. I think it's going to be the first time Chicken's going to go up against the CC with Nats being the one to run it, so I'm definitely going to be looking forward to watching that matchup. Now, that does limit them again. We said they needed a strong frontline hero that could pretty much zone out. Now, I guess you have damage with the CC, but the crowd control is where I feel like Cloud9 is kind of lacking on, which is going to make it a little bit easier, or probably even way easier for BTK to take these turtles in the beginning of this game. And that seems to be their plan, right? They want to take the objectives. They want to take these turtles. They want to take these lords and go for the early finish. But if it goes to the late game, then Basic is going to eat everybody alive with this Claude.
Yeah, I mean, listen, They're going, like I said, Cloud9 is going for speed here. They're going for movement. They're going for the in, the out. Yes, they lack the crowd control. And I think it's definitely going to be a toss-up in terms of who really gets these first objectives, because yes, BTK are some tanky boys who can really hang out in the pit, but all it takes is one member to give best player an early game kill, and things could tip very bad for them. So I do think there's still a lot. It's going to be like who kind of wins out in the early game a bit here. It's definitely going to be interesting because, like I said, it's two very different drafts. But let's jump in to game number 4. Will this end in the hands of C9? Will BTK take us to game 5?
Man, it kind of feels like we're watching a repeat of week 2 when both of these teams fought it out in this same exact situation. BTK down 1-2 up against Cloud9 and forced to try and even out this series, or will be dropped down into the lower bracket. Will BTK be able to pull this off, or will we see Cloud9 move on forward as the first grand finalist?
Definitely up in the air, and Hoon on a a lot of damage on a Hoon there. Yikes.
Yeah, a lot of damage. He bursted pretty low. He almost fell right there.
And so, I mean, at this point, Hoon is going to be on the Jushin. I'm wondering, like I said before, I'm wondering how he's going to play it. Is he going to play it as good as Mark Cutie played it? Is this Aurora maybe a good answer to it? You do have some nice poke and nice range with the Aurora, and adding the freeze on that. The Jushin can't just kind of freely sit there, right? Jushin has to maybe move back when Aurora's bringing down those icicles, because if Aurora just tries to continue the kite, you get frozen, you get some damage to your face, and what we just saw almost happens.
Yeah, needing to be careful, especially with the freeze. Can catch them in their tracks. I mean, just such a bully right now with Mark Cutie, just pretty much not allowing BTK to really push in. Here goes the turtle play that we were looking for. Looks like best player is going to be able to secure it, and we know that BTK, with the early game composition, they're the ones who needs to take this.
Yeah, I mean, it's an early game, but also, like, just having Bane, I think, again, man, the Bane is going to have some trouble here. It's not going to jungle as fast as best player on this Julian. It's not going to move around the map as fast as best player on this Julian. So I think it's a lot of things are coming down to the rest of the team right now and how they create space for Zane to get to that turtle. Can they delay the turtle enough that he can kind of catch up and be there to match best player? Because with having the Matilda, having the Claude, having the CC, Cloud9 can kind of be anywhere they want a little bit before BTK, and that's going to be the answer that BTK has to bring.
Yeah, and Cloud9 off to a good start, taking this turtle to work in their favor. We have to see how BTK responds, right? If they're not going to be able to get these turtles, even with this early game composition, they need to get to the side lanes. They need to find a possible trade-off.
Yeah, so let's see if they can pull it off. Taking a look at some of the items. Zane not too far behind. Zia did just get in the War Axe, so a little bit more damage over to Zia. Zia, I think, if they can get him involved into these fights a little bit earlier, if they can get the full 5-man, then it is good. But Zia in a little bit of trouble.
Ooh, 3-man rotation, circling Eagle, the flyby, and best player will be the one to deal the finishing blow. Zia will fall.
This is what I mean by the movement, and now even more damage on Mobazane. He should be able to get away from this, but it's going to be a little bit of gold plating over the side of Cloud9, and BTK always going to be a little bit slow to the party.
Ooh, speaking of slow to the party, Mark Cutie almost fell right there. It does have Cool World to keep him alive. To be able to take down these minions was almost a costly play. I think they're going to go in for it. No, he is going to go ahead and recall back. Shark, though, he doesn't look like he wants to let him go for free.
He's waiting. He's like, come on, recall, bro. We'll see what happens. We'll roll the dice a little bit. Shark now finally getting into the face of best player, though. Hoon finally getting kind of into the groove of zoning them back. And this should be a turtle over to BTK, so holding themselves in the game.
Ooh, the rotation's a little slow by best player right there. Circling Eagle.
Oh!
You're going to see Sandstorm connect. Both sides fighting it out. Best player, though, will find Mobazane. Blake Duet goes down. Best player taking down Shark. 2 members falling. That's a double kill for best player. Hoon may be next. Wants to go back to the base. Chicken left to defend. We'll be able to clear out these minions in the mid lane.
And BTK, when they get the turtle, they get themselves back into the game, and then they push a little bit too far on that, maybe trying to be aggressive, trying to take a camp, and it bites them forward. Cloud9 now still with a nice lead. Nothing too crazy, but in control.
Yeah, I mean, they're inching their way up in these objectives, which is going to help them, especially as we get closer to that 10-minute mark. And BTK, they did a good job, though. They were able to out-rotate best player. Even though they lost the first turtle, they were able to make up for it with the second one. So that's still going to keep them in this game, only down by about 1,000 gold so far.
Yeah, we need that. You know, we saw last time, we saw a nice Raging Sandstorm come in from Fried Chicken, but it still didn't feel like enough. Cold World does go down there, so Mobazane finds the pickoff. He needs that kill, honestly, after taking the death to put himself a little bit more into this game.
Yeah, they definitely need that one right there. And Cold World, he was just caught out of position. He couldn't even move. The chain CC, too much to handle. Zia going up against Nats, actually, on the bot side. It looks like both sides rotated. You are looking at Chicken on the top side up against Basic with the Claude.
Yeah, Cloud9 make the swap, and I think Nats will have a decent time against the Ruby. Nats is going to have a good time overall on the CC, and it just fits well into what Cloud9 wants to bring, which is this very kiting type of composition. This composition that wants to move in, move out. Yes, we maybe lack crowd control, but we can just do chip damage, do burst damage, get out as fast as possible with the Matilda. They do have the big Frigid Glacier from Marcuti, so there still is some crowd control there. But overall, Cloud9's composition is very straightforward. It is kind of, you know, we're dancing here. We're moving, and you got to be able to catch us if you want to kill us.
Yeah, BTK looking to do the tangle right now for the third turtle of this game. Here comes Cloud9 circling Eagle in. There goes that lantern play. Best player able to take the turtle for Cloud9, but needs to get back to safety. Hit with the time, offended. Zia will secure the kill on him. One member down for Cloud9, but a turtle secured.
All right, very well played from both sides there. The Frigid Glacier, first of all, was beautifully placed by Marcuti. Mobazane tries to move out, but to get in range for the retry, he ends up getting frozen by it. Luckily, BTK does still get that kill onto best player, which is huge and kind of evening out that trade. And BTK still hanging out. And as long as they keep this gold at not too far of at a deficit, they're still very much in this game.
Ooh, there goes the Raging Sandstorm. The Desert Tornado forces out the circling Eagle. Wraps all the way around town on the Hoon. Still in the fight, though. Procs that lantern. Both sides fight it out. Enhanced chains connects. Fried Chicken forces a quicksand. Mobazane will take a turret on the bot side. Best player able to get a kill. Chicken finds Nats. 1-for-1 for both sides. Yeah. Shark and Nats are down. There goes the Pride of Ice from Marcuti. Zia, very low, needs to get back to safety, but best player has the enhanced sights, may be able to use it to extend the distance, but Zia will make it back to safety. But look at Zane.
Yeah, once again, Zia's Ruby is just disgusting, and all that's happening in a 4v5 situation pretty much. Wade Hoon in trouble, goes down to best player. That's big for Cloud9. The blows are finally starting to go back and forth, but this time BTK bringing the macro game.
Yeah, but BTK, I mean, they have to keep putting on this pressure, right? They need to keep this game under control because the late game damage is going to be a threat, especially with Basic. They have yet to find a kill on him so far, and he already has the DHS.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot. Basic, though, yeah, like you said, I mean, Basic has consistently been like the sleeper agent on the team of Cloud9. You never know exactly when he's going to pop off, but at some point, it will come.
And this may be the time. Chicken forced to use that Raging Sandstorm back to safety, and that will be that turret falling as Chicken is going to go ahead and recall back to the base. That is going to be both sides able to claim some real estate on this map as the Lord spawns in.
Look at, all right, so we see Fried Chicken this time go to the long lane, trying to control it, trying to push it back. This will help him have a little bit of an advantage over the Lord. But Basic also playing the top side. Both teams making sure side lanes are controlled. Deadly Catch comes out. A lot of resources burnt up from both teams.
Yeah, you did see that Frostly Breeze come out over there by Marcuti. Doing a great job on this Aurora. Even though he's not stacked up in the kills, the crowd control aspect that he brings to these fights is huge for Cloud9. As you are seeing the Lord in play, both sides ready to do the dance in the Lord pit, but neither side going to find the opportunity they were looking for, so they'll disengage.
And I want to keep our eyes on this bot lane. It is the slow build-up. I do think BTK's wave ends up winning out and getting the slow push up. And that is going to be important as this fight. If this fight really drags on the long haul, eventually Cloud9 has to send someone back. So I don't know if they want to try to rush this, if they want to slow play this, but it's definitely going to kind of be a battle of the macro here. BTK finally maybe making the advance.
Yeah, unfortunate though. Zane is the one who has to be the pusher with this Bane. Both sides fighting it out. So Raging Sandstorm from Chicken to initiate. Frigid Glacier does connect. Zia and Mobazane caught by Marcutie, but still in position for the retry play. Avatar the Guardian dropped it down for the airborne knockup, and Zia with the follow through. We'll find Nats Basic taking down Mobazane. No retry for BTK. Best player will find Zia. 2-for-1 trade. Able to take down Shark as well for the double kill. Circling Eagle, the flyby, and who will fall? Cold World able to hit him from a mile away, and also finds Fried Chicken for the double kill. And a tier 3 turret for the mid lane. Possible tier 2 as well. Now making their way into an inhibitor. They have minions still in play in 7 seconds before Zia spawns in. The base has been opened up. They don't have minions to follow up with it though, so they'll disengage.
Yeah, that was a close call, but they get so much profit off of that. And finally, the gold really scales into Cloud9's advantage here. It goes from being a 1 to 2K gold lead to about 6,000, not to mention the inhibitor, not to mention the map control, plus a Lord on top of that. In the end, Cloud9's dancing composition of this back and forth wins out. Fried Chicken lands the big flicker sandstorm, but it's just not enough, and BTK lose member after member, all for just Nats.
Yeah, Basic now going to be able to get that core trinity we were looking for, so he's going to be hitting very hard. There goes the Wind of Nature to top it off, especially against the heavy physical damage that BTK has. Now looking at this Lord marching through the mid lane. They may go in for a potential game ender. They only have to go through 2 inhibitors and the base crystal, but BTK, full 5-man left to defend.
All right, so they will be able to maybe shred this down, but Cloud9 at any point could make the strike. BTK has to play it careful. I don't think they should try to engage in anything. They need to hang out, let Cloud9 come to them, because if White Chicken goes too deep, if Shark goes too deep, the damage that Cloud9 has right now is enough to change things up. But look at the play.
Oh, Circling Eagle, Cold World able to escape with the hair of HP. Uses a lot of utility as well. Who will find best player? One down for the side of Cloud9. Nats will take down Chicken, make that 2 for BTK. Basic finding Zia. 2-for-1 trade. Nat will take down Shark. That's 3 members down for the Bloodthirsty Kings. Zane and Hoon left to pick up the pieces. The 4-man rotation from Cloud9 through the mid lane. Trex, I think they're looking to close it out. I think they're looking for a finish. Circling Eagle onto Zane. Forcing out the deadliest catch, but Zane very low. Nats will take him down. All is left is Hoon to defend against Basic. Marcutie and Cold World, the inhibitor, will fall on the top side. I think they're going to go in, though. Hoon trying to clear this minion in time. Zia spawns in alongside Fried Chicken, and Cloud9 will leave the base.
All right, it's getting closer. Cloud9 still taking their time with it. Zia comes back up in just a second, but once again, man, Fried Chicken and Shark make this engage up in that top inhibitor, and Mobazane's not there. He's clearing bot. He's got to go back to base for health. He's not there, and there's just no damage to follow up on these big crowd control plays that BTK is trying to make. And even though they're under the tower, the big Frigid Glacier comes down, and Cloud9 just seems to be getting the better of them in these fights. Taking a look at the items, Zane does finally get in the Malefic Roar. I'm guessing last item might just end up being a BOD? Maybe just go for the full damage, make sure that crab cannon can actually take some people out. On the side of Basic, though, he just finished out his last item, Malefic Roar locked in, and here comes a big fight. Yeah,
there goes the Pride of Ice, but Zane gonna gobble it up with the deadliest catch. Down goes Marcutie. This could work in BTK's favor, though. They do have the numbers, but look at the wave management right now for Cloud9.
Yeah, the waves are going to be a problem. This is what Cloud9 did last time. Once you're down this many towers, it is tough to fight for these Lords. You got to kind of rush them. White Chicken holding down the bot lane, the long lane, just trying to relieve some pressure so that BTK can maybe make the move.
Yeah, trying to buy some time. Now forced to take this fight in the Lord Pit with Marcutie not there. BTK does have the numbers, but it's not going to stop Cloud9 from engaging. Circling Eagle from Cold World back to safety. Chicken immobilized. There goes the Lantern over there by Hoon. Trying to zone them out. I'm offended. Double set. Zia finds Naz. Zane finds the Lord. Basic with the BMI with the Blazing Duet. Finds Mobazane. May be able to get another Winter Crown. Procced on Cold World. Chicken.
That's huge.
We'll wait and take him down. Basic Marcutie left to go back, but the Lord has been secured by the Bloodthirsty Kings.
I just want to say I've been waiting for a game like this. The past 3, let's be honest, it's just been stomps. It's just been snoozers. But now we finally got a little bit of a back and forth. Cloud9 wins a fight. BTK wins a fight, and it is down the line right now. If BTK can clear some inhibitors here, it is a tie game all around.
Yeah, basic best player is going to spawn in. Cold World as well, so it's going to be a full 5v5 as Zane is now going to join the party as well. The base now being opened for Cloud9. They had the chance to close this out, but BTK quickly finding the pieces and putting them together, and now has an advantage to even out this series.
Yeah, let's take a look at this replay, man. BTK did so well at zoning out in that final big flicker sandstorm paired up with the I'm Offended. Basic tries to do something. He tries to lock onto Hoon, but the Lantern Flare is just too much. Hoon finally finding his groove here. I mean, he's literally, him and Fried Chicken are just zoning Cloud9 at bay, letting Mobazane have free reign over the Lord Pit. And now opposite inhibitors are broken down. Opposite side lanes are going to be having more powerful minions and closing in. BTK with the pressure.
Yeah, and right now, hey, I love to say it, pressure does one or two things. It either bursts pipes or makes diamonds, and we're going to see which side is holding on to the diamonds and which side is going to have some bursting pipes. 10-15 on the scoreboard. Now getting to that 16-minute mark, everybody ready for the late game battle. A full 5v5 engagement may be on the way. Cloud9, they don't even have wave management no more. It is an even playing field.
Definitely an even playing field. I do still think Cloud9 are going to be able to kind of dance still a bit more, but it is going to be tough for them now that we're getting to this. I mean, it's 52K to 52K. We're getting to end game items here. It is going to be tough for Cloud9 to really break through what BTK has. And as long as nobody gets caught off on BTK, if they can bring the full 5v5, they should have the advantage here. They have more crowd control. They have enough damage. They have sustainability to hang out in these Lord Pits. Cloud9 has to really come at this in an angle. They also need to look for a pick-off, which is kind of going to be tough. Or Marcuti has to bring down the perfect Frigid Glacier. Other than that, it's just got to be a macro game, because I don't think Cloud9's going to have a lot of trouble taking the big 5v5 here. And here goes one at the top.
Yeah, the 5v5 on the way. Chicken to initiate with the Raging Sandstorm, forcing out Basic to use that Blazing Duet. Counterplay, Marcuti takes down Hoon. This may have been a mistake by the Bloodthirsty King Shark. Caught out of position, taking a lot of damage. Needs to go back to safety. Vengeance proc by NACT, still on the chase. Koro wrapping around Marcuti beside him. Uses the Guiding Wind, trying to expand and trying to get a kill on the Shark, but able to go back to safety. But look at the Lord. This may be a chance for Cloud9 to claim this. They don't have Kun. They have the numbers, and BTK forced to clear these minions.
Man, BTK seems to be continuously taking fights that maybe they shouldn't. They should have played for Lord Pit control. They should have played for control on the bot side, but try to make the big play happen and pay for it. Hoon is bursted down. Cloud9 with the big burst potential. Best player just gets in the winner crown, and this is going to make him be able to hang around even longer on this Lord push.
Basic's going to pick up the immortality as well, so they're getting some insurance policies out before this storm hits. Sounds kind of familiar for us Floridians, as you are going to go ahead and see the Lord make its way down the mid lane. The push from Cloud9 to try and close out the series with the NAS prediction 3-1. BTK holding up that shield. Cloud9 with a dagger looking to pierce through. Deadliest Catch goes out from Mobazane. The Lord quickly bursted down, and minions will fall as well. Cloud9 has to make a decision here. Do they continue to engage? There goes the I'm Offended for the setup, forcing out the Winter Crown. There goes the Circling Eagle as well. The stun onto NAS. BTK still standing strong. Cloud9
top side.
Disengage from the base, and BTK able to hold that shield and push them out.
They are hanging on for dear life right now, and they are doing it well. The Crab Claw Cannon is just chunking people down. The amount of just peel that BTK has, or stiff arm, whatever you want to call it, the ability to stop Cloud9 from jumping in completely, just holding them at bay is there for BTK right now. And here we go. Here you see it. Items almost completely maxed out. Mobazane did go for the Blade of Despair as his final item. On the side of BTK, we also have Shark finally kind of finishing things out. He's got the Blade armor locked in as well, which is a big deterrent for Basic. On the side of Fried Chicken, he just locked in the Winter Crown. He's got the Blade of Hepides. He's going to be putting out a little bit more damage to kind of hybrid this out, went almost fully defensive, but kind of drops the cherry there with a little bit of damage at the end. And that could be the thing that really helps BTK out in some of these fights. And then Hoon as well, man. The Lantern Flare has just been so helpful in these sieges and defending against Cloud9. Just like what Cloud9 did to BTK last time, where you weren't able to jump in because of it, BTK is doing the same thing.
Well, it is now or never for BTK, their most important game of this entire NACT fall season. They need this victory to be able to even out this series up against Cloud9. Cloud9, they're one victory away from securing a seat as a grand finalist. You can definitely tell a lot is on the line and the anticipation is climbing. Everybody going wild, but this can only end one way with one team being victorious. But the question is, who will that be?
Oh, Basic hanging out down on the boss side. He's got to control this wave. They have to control this bottom wave because it is going to be one that seems to be pressuring onto Cloud9. But honestly, if Cloud9 can control it, they can go for some cheeky plays here. They have Basic on the Claude. They have him on the signature backdoor hero in his pocket. You pair that up with the Matilda, who can get him back to safety at any moment. It is definitely scary. BTK knows this. They want to try to rush this Lord.
This is our longest game yet in the battle for the Lord on the way, already down to 50% HP. Bot side, you are looking at Basic on a split push. Do they know he's there? There goes a recall.
Yeah, they got to go back.
Yeah, they have to defend. This is going to be Zia who's going to go back. No, he cancels it. No, he does go back. So Basic will not be able to split push. This may be an opportunity, though, for the Bloodthirsty Kings to take this Lord. There goes the Vengeance. Proc, Nats, stun, forced to use a Winter Crown. Best player trying to do damage onto this Lord. While he has the separation, Mark Cutie will find a kill, takes down Hoon. Avatar the Guardian dropping down. Best player able to take the Lord for Cloud9. Mark Cutie finding Shark. 2 members down for the Bloodthirsty King. Zia forcing out the immortality from Nas. Hit with the airborne knockup, trying to get to safety. Trying to sustainability, rushes back in. Able to take down Nas. Another Winter Crown. Proc, untargetable. Basic will find Mobazane. Mark Cutie able to survive. Best player will take down Zia. Chicken left alone. 4 members of Cloud9. There goes another Winter Crown by Chicken and immortality to top it off, but not enough to withstand the pressure from Cloud9. Able to get a full wipeout on the Bloodthirsty Kings, and able to take down the base Crystal. That is going to be a 3-1 close and a seat into the grand finals. You saw Mobazane on the camera. Now you see Basic on the opposite side. You see the flag. They're ready to go. They're locked and loaded and have made it into the grand finals for NACT.
Cloud9 once again in 3-1 fashion. I mean, and when it comes down to the wire, what do they do best? They control that long lane, man, and they're able to come back, get him in the pincer formation with Basic and Cold World on the backside, and the rest of the team and the rest of VTK stuck in the middle of this. They have to send Zia back, and once Zia goes back, they know what time it is. Cloud9 knows exactly what they have to do. They know, okay, it's a 5v4 now. We win out on this, and they just did it perfectly in the end game there.
Yeah, that was a really good match, man. It's like a sneak peek of maybe a possible grand finals game. But it ended with the same result, 3-1 for Cloud9. Even with the improvements that we've seen from BTK, it's just not enough. In that game, it could have ended either way. BTK had a chance to be able to even out that series, even with not having a traditional marksman on their side, even though it shows Zia on the Natan. But nonetheless, it was a great match. I feel like BTK, just a couple of mistakes toward the end, just being a little overly aggressive. And then also best player able to make advantage of the separation, able to get that Lord, and the split push from Basic kind of helped them get the edge over the Bloodthirsty Kings to win over this series.
You know what I love about these two teams right here, man. It's whoever wins. There's always some trash between the two of them. There's always some smack talk. The fact that Zane comes into camera, Basic now in camera, and whatever side you're on, you're painting the other one as the villain, and it adds so much more hype to these games. But Cloud9 moves on, and I mean that was one that was down the line. Those are the games that it decides on what team is ultimately better at that point. And right now, Cloud9 seems like the better team. When the pressure is on them, they're able to win out. Let's take a look at some of these replays. BTK able to hang on in the early game, able to get this to where they wanted. We're in the second turtle right now, and they get the big kill on the best player. They're able to hold on, but both teams just continuously finding pickoffs of other members, continuously kind of pulling back on this tug of war rope. One time Basic goes down, one time Mobazane goes down, one time best player goes down, and it's just trade for trade throughout the middle of this game, back and forth.
You know, it's almost as if like whoever has the Julian is gonna win. That's really what it's kind of boiling down to. But man, just a lot of spicy engagements from both sides, keeping us at the edge of our seats, man. I think at one moment I almost lost my voice, man. I was out of breath at that base crystal, man. I was like, come on, y'all gotta give me some breathing room. But BTK, man, it was a hard battle and a little bittersweet for them to not be able to find that victory to take us to Game 5. I love seeing things go the distance, but hey, they still have another shot. They're not entirely out of the NACT. They're just knocked down to the lower bracket. But credits over to Cloud9 securing the first seat in the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 get first seat. That's huge. They have still been undefeated so far in NACT. You know, no matter what the percents are, they have been the favorite. And I got to know what our boy Zeke has to say about this.
I called it. That's what I got to say about that. I knew it. I knew BTK was going to get that smackdown. They got that work, and they did, respectfully. Big congratulations to Cloud9 getting to go up to the finals. Now all of these other teams got to figure things out in the lower brackets, and I'm really excited to see how today is going to pan out.
I think there's still a lot more in store for us, right? Still 2 more series to go. But Cloud9, being the first team to enter in the grand finals, they get to take a break now, man. They get to hang out. They get to watch the rest of the teams play, study up, practice for a week, and get ready for grand finals next weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely, the excitement doesn't stop just here, right? We still got to figure out who's going to face up against the Bloodthirsty Kings and have a chance to be able to shut them down, as we are looking at the bracket so far. With Cloud9's victory 3-1 against BTK, they've officially earned that first seat into the grand finals in a best of 7. But we still got losers, or lower bracket round 1 and 2. Got to see Godspeed and Gosu Nighthorde fight it out to figure out who's going to be facing BTK in that best of 3. Should be a best of 3 to be able to fight it out in the grand finals. Another
match that I'm really excited to see, it will be a best of 5 in that second lower bracket game. One of these teams is going to get to go against BTK. I'm really excited to see who it's going to be. I do feel like Gosu and Godspeed bring a lot of the same type of energy to the field. Both are good teams, both are developing teams, and I think that it really could go either way. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that, and I'm excited to see who's going to go hands-on with BTK.
I think the next 2 series, no matter how they go, we're definitely in for a show. Godspeed hungry for the rematch against BTK. I'm sure Boz just watching, just snacking, watching, waiting. To whereas Nighthorde, Gosu, I feel like Gosu Nighthorde is a team that's really just trying to show that they are at least a top 3 team, at least show that they are a competitor here.
All right. Competitor, Zeke. Go ahead.
I think I got one of these competitors waiting for me, so I'm going to kick you guys out of here and bring in one of the most handsome guys in Cloud9, Mark Cutie. G, get out of here. This isn't for you.
Hey, calm down.
All right. Mark Cutie, man, how are you feeling?
Feeling good. How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling delighted. I had my votes on you guys, and you guys had me a little bit on the seat that second match, but you guys came in strong. You guys controlled, and I'm very proud of you guys. Very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
So some people wanted to know. I feel like this is a relatively simple question, but How did you practice not dying so much?
I mean, you just gotta look at the map sometimes, you know. So like, yep, map awareness.
Is there anything that you want to say to BTK after having not only beaten them in the second time in a row in this NACT, but knocking them into the lower bracket? What do you want to say?
I mean, I know comment because they're like the super team of NA, you know. They're my idols.
Apparently not. Cloud9 in the house. So next up, we're gonna have Gosu Nighthorde going up against Godspeed. One of them are gonna get to go against BTK. How do you feel like either of them are gonna fare against BTK after having just faced them?
I would say like Godspeed has more chance based on what they did the last series. I feel like they got more chance going up against BTK.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think opinions might vary there, but I hear you. I'm not going to hold you guys up too much. I know that you're in the process of celebrating now. I see Jiraiko in the background. He's grinning from ear to ear. I'm not going to stop you guys from doing that. Again, I'm proud of you guys. You guys played so well. Don't party it up too much. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Still got to stay focused, you know. We got one more series. Thank you.
I love them so much. They're so funny to me. I love that their players are so well composed, and it might be because G the Aiko was just sitting there in the background. I love them though. They always they're very well spoken individuals.
Yeah, G the Aiko is the if you guys watch any MPL at all, G the Aiko is the daddy hood of C9 right now. He's like the quote unquote CEO, the guy who's just always standing there. He needs some sweet sunglasses. If you're listening right now, G, get a chain, put your sweet sunglasses on. I need you in full mobster mode. But I think what's really cool is because, you know, us as casters, you know, a lot of us have connection to a lot of players on both of these teams, but right now, Cloud9 having G, having Mar, having Cold World, having a lot of these guys who we have seen kind of grow, who weren't always the stars of NA, but now in the limelight, it's like, at this point, it feels like no matter who ends up winning, it is a win for a lot of us. We're excited to watch either of these teams come out on top. It is truly, I feel like, just a great time for NA to just be a fan of NA.
Speaking of fans,
speaking of stars,
MVP for Cloud9 is going to be able to dominate yet again. Looked a little shaky in a couple of the matches, but able to make up for it in the end. Definitely well deserved. Nats, he's been a secret weapon, right? He was all the way out from RSG, Philippines, and the question was he what Cloud9 needed? And I mean, he's been able to perform exactly where they needed him to, especially with this series so far. The glue was a little shaky, but everything else I feel was right on par. So definitely a well-deserved MVP for Mr. Nats himself. The prediction has yet to fell him with a 3-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Nats definitely played a great game.
I think as long as he stays away from glue, I think that they will be competitive in the finals. No, I'm just kidding. That's jokes aside. He played very well, and since he's come over to NA, he's definitely been stirring things up, and I definitely think for a lot of people, he might be bringing the question of, you know, how competitive are some of our top elite players as we know them, you know, being able to challenge Fried Chicken here in North America, being able to challenge other players like Yureshi and etc. I think that he's brought a lot of awesome energy to not only Cloud9, but North America. And I'm extremely excited to see how he's going to be performing in the actual finals. But before we start rambling off too much, I'm going to let these guys take a break, and I will see you guys right after.
This weekend, North America's top teams go head-to-head. Who will rise to the top? All eyes are on the title, as only the strongest will survive. Don't miss the NACT 2024 Fall Playoffs. Stay tuned this weekend.
Jilted.
Alright, burst.
Do it.
Double snipe.
You see me?
Look to fight.
I am. I'm looking. Ruby. Both of them.
Try push.
Ruby no hook.
Khalid.
Yo, slow. One target. Ruby. Look.
Ruby.
See that?
Nice. Keep going.
Yeah.
Zero. I flicker in 3.
Go.
Alright, looking.
1.
Careful. Super low.
I didn't go. And Bowie. Can you knock him up? Nice. Hey! Power? They're trying to...
Yeah, it's over.
Goodbye.
Nice.
More game.
More game.
Hook.
Nice one.
I think I can chase him. I got him.
Wait, look at the flicker. Louis.
I stunned him. Nah, good shit. Yeah. Hold on. No. No, he dead. And a boy.
Oh, he died.
Just
I'll
keep
stun
hitting
Cooper if he
tower.
jumps. I'll stun him.
Cooper.
It's running out.
2 minutes, son. Okay. I blocked off it.
I'm tanking tower. Just end if you can.
And then. Okay, nice shot.
Nice. Good shit. At least we gave them 2 wins.
Yo, dog one, tiga na. Ay, dami! Abol. Yo, clock. Tara na. What the f***? Is that?
Totalo po.
Ayaw, go.
Wait, I'll swipe, good.
Ako muna. 5 man winter.
Wala lang ako. Ito ako.
Patay mo natin, Tay. Patay mo natin, ha? Kill him.
GG.
Wait.
1, 2, 3.
Dito. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Do the countdown! Tower. Go!
I can't walk up.
Here. Mid.
GG, he dashed him, that dumbass.
GG. Oh, nice. Endable.
It's endable.
Broke out. Nice. Endable.
Shit, you just one shit her. You just one shot her.
Nice, let's go, guys. Wait, so did we secure top 4?
Easy game.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, sir. Easy game.
Yes, sir. We're
Yes,
top 4?
sir. Top 4.
Let's go.
Guaranteed.
Patayan na niya, tol. Okay, Lordable. Ano lang gawa, pre?
Hindi ako bala kay Jane. Ikaw na bala.
Mid.
Hindi pa na, pre. Pwede pa. Ito. Kaya nagpuntin. Sige. Gusto. Awan nga.
Paano game, pre? Oh my God. Buti may tiwala kay Sign. Mo. 0, 1.
Fighting for no one would ever know your name. Who are you waiting for?
Hey guys, what's up? You just saw a fantastic matchup, but we're getting ready to see another one. As we step into the lower brackets of the NACT, we're going to see Gosu Nighthorde showing off against Godspeed. Both teams did, they did pretty well in the actual NACT regular season, but they have to be able to play today, because if they don't, again, we said it earlier, 2 teams are going to go home today. Will it be both of them? Or will it just be one of them? Time will tell.
I mean, as Zeke said, they did pretty well in the regular season. I think Godspeed has been on the uprise overall. They went from being a team that none of us really had eyes on to a team that almost took down BTK. So Godspeed definitely showing up a lot. And Nighthorde, on the other hand, maybe not performing to what we thought Gosu Nighthorde might perform to. And if there's a chance for Godspeed to get an upset and secure, number 3, number 2, number 1, they have to prove it here. Nighthorde, on the other hand, just needs to show that they are still a dominant team in NACT, and there's a reason why they've been around for a while now.
Yeah, it's going to be one of their biggest challenges yet, right? I mean, we got to see them take down teams like Overskilled, Accelerate, but not really a team that we've put in that top 4 caliber. So this is going to be a very, possibly their hardest fight they've had yet. And also, it's going to be a debut match for them as well, as they have yet to actually face up against Godspeed. So this is going to be a debut between both of these 2 teams. It was kind of fun to be able to predict which way this is going to go, but nonetheless, there's experience on both sides. There's players who have made it to grand finals in previous NACTs. I mean, you got Joy Baj on one side, you got Dez on the other, and you just got to love to see it. But one thing is for certain, whoever wins here will be moving forward into the lower bracket finals to be going up against the Bloodthirsty Kings for that final seat for the grand finalists.
So not wanting us to dive right into who we actually think is going to win, based off of what we have seen from these 2 teams. Again, we're in the lower brackets now. Everything is on the line. What do you think these teams actually need to accomplish if they want to be successful?
I think Godspeed needs to play their game, right? I think they finally kind of found some real identity in the way that they draft and the way that they want to play and the type of compositions they want to pull off, who they want to play around, how aggressive they want to be. Like they seem to have really locked down their identity as a team. Night Horde seems to be not, I mean, they almost seem to be like their identity is falling apart, honestly. They came in very solid, and now it feels like they're making roster changes. They don't know exactly how they want to play, and it's way too late in the game to be at that place. So I think they need to re-solidify, and I think it's going to be very big. This match is going to be very big on who are we as a team and how do we want to execute our play style.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. They've been changing up their synergy every single game, just changing up who's going to be running in the gold lane, who's going to be the roamer, who's going to be the jungle. And you can't really do that when you get this high in the NACT, because these other teams, they already have these things ironed out. They have it figured out. They've had it tested for weeks. And that's going to be what we're going to be looking forward to watching. As we are looking at Gosu Night Horde, this is going to be their lineup. Mikasa will be in the XP lane. The jungle will be Dez. You're going to look at the mid lane being Legend, Alcy1 inside of the roam position, and Oh My Foe as the gold laner.
I feel like they keep moving around spots, positions in their field goes through Night Horde. And honestly, I really wish that they would stay in more spots, because I feel like it's difficult for us to assess how good these players are in their respective roles if they're playing every role.
And now we're going to take a look at Godspeed with Divine in the XP lane, Shiro in the jungle, Restart in the mid, Joybaj as the Roman, Toru in the gold. And this is a team that, you know, at first all eyes were on Baji Boy. And now, after seeing them last week, we've started to respect all of them. Divine played a great game as the XP lane. Shiro has really stepped up his game as well. And like I said, overall, this is a team that has really found their identity. And I think this is going to be one of the most important series for them. This is going to be to really decide how they stand in terms of things, because as Weezy said, they have not faced against Night Horde yet. So it's one more team to prove themselves against.
And speaking of proving themselves, we are going to see what the caster predictions are. Zeke, why don't you go ahead and tell us why you chose Godspeed?
So for me, I think that it was well spoken by Trex earlier. Godspeed has been consistently on the come up, and Night Horde, I don't want to say that they're having an identity crisis, but they are Gosu Night Horde now. I'm gonna leave that for the viewers to pick apart.
I think Godspeed really earned all. I was very surprised when I saw everyone vote Godspeed. I think I put in my vote first for this, and I thought I was going to be the different pick here, but it seems like Godspeed has earned everyone's respect after last week's games.
Yeah, I mean, you said it just exactly how I would have. Last week's games and the games yesterday, to be able to see Godspeed in action, it was still very impressive. But for the side of Gosu Night Horde, there's just a lot of red flags for me, right? Just switching the roster. I didn't really get to see a lot of synergy get online, and I just felt like a lot of the things that they chose were last minute. And it just didn't really work in their favor, and so I just feel like it's not stable enough for me to put my vote behind. But it's up to them to make that difference and to prove us wrong, and hopefully they can do that today. Unfortunately, it's a unanimous decision across the board, but you gotta make it that way when you're switching your roster every single week inside of the regular season.
So I do want to make it a point to say, though, that Godspeed, respectively, does have their own mistakes that they make. And although they've done well against BTK and some of the other more difficult teams in the past, I think that they still have a lot of work if they want to win out over Night Horde right now. And speaking of right now, the draft is ready. Before I forgot to speak.
All right, Zeke, I'll speak for you. We're going to be jumping into the first draft of the second series tonight. Godspeed on the blue side up against Night Horde on the red side. Second pick. Now, I got a feeling the drafts may be a little bit different than what we saw in the last series. Last series, we saw a lot of target bans. This time, it might take a little bit of time for these drafts to evolve. But I think what's going to be very important for Godspeed is getting Baj on something aggressive, getting Baj on something where he can really pop off. And another big win con for Godspeed is not get those blinders on too heavy. We saw it against BTK. Yes, it was great when they were constantly focusing on Mobazane, but at some point in the game, they needed to start switching over to the marksman. They needed to start focusing on the EXP laner, and sometimes Godspeed gets a little too hyper-focused. So if they can spread things out, I think they can do well.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be keeping a close eye on. For the side of Godspeed, especially with Joybaj, he kind of tends to like to be overly aggressive. He loves playing those heroes who can initiate and invade. Sometimes that can be costly, so he definitely wants to be a little careful rushing into this. But he's going to be going up against LC1, and I feel like he'll be just fine there. They really have to tap into the, as Zeke would say, identity crisis that Night Horde Gosu is having right now. They got to find that synergy and make it vulnerable for their taking. You are seeing some of the bans on the way, though. They are going to go ahead and try and limit some of the assassins away from Shiro. We know he's been pretty dominant on the Fanny, on the Ling. Even on the week 1, he came through looking like a Sky King out there. So I respect it. There are still some pickups on the board, though. The Phobius is still up for grabs. It could be something that Godspeed can lean in on here. The Hayabusa is still an assassin, yet to be banned out, as Gosu Night Horde is going to go in for the Bane instead. And this is totally different than what me and you saw, at least in the first series for today. Guys, keep in mind, though, this is not a best of 5. This is a best of 3.
Best of 3.
Yeah, whoever wins here will move on forward. Whoever loses here is gone. This is their last chance in the NACT fall season.
Yeah, we did see, I think the Bane's a solid Bane. Night Horde's definitely done their homework. Last week we saw Shiro pick up the Bane. We saw Godspeed kind of come with this big, box formation with Bane sitting in the middle. But there goes the Suyo. Night Horde's going to pick it up. We've seen Zane do wonders on it so far in the jungle. Can Oh My Foe or Dez do wonders on it as well? The Phobius does get picked up for Divine. We know Phobius is still a big power play. We saw Chicken do great on it earlier today. But there's the Chip. So Suyo and Chip on the side of Night Horde, already some big wild cards.
Do they pick out the Hayabusa here? Do they go in for the Julian play? Both of them can definitely be some answers they can lean in on for the side of Godspeed. Yeah, they have the teleport, so they have the element of surprise to work in Gosu Night Horde's favor, on top of already the Suyo, who we've seen be such a dominant threat in that jungle position. We got to see a Suyo put in the gold lane as well. It didn't really work out the best, but we did see it during the playoffs, which was super interesting. I wonder if we're going to see that here again for this series. There goes the Lu Yi pickup, though. Going to go ahead and pick up their mid lane for the side of Godspeed. And it looks like they're trying to match the element of surprise from the Chip, right? Yeah. You have the Lu Yi versus the Chip. Both of them have the teleports to be able to get across the map. There's that Julian we were looking for as well. Definitely with that Bane being banned out, decided not to go in for the Hayabusa, but more of that Julian is going to be the choice for the side of Godspeed.
Yeah, I feel like Lu Yi is a bit more of like that positional teleport, right? Trying to gain an advantage, trying to catch them off surprise. Chip is that aggressive attack teleport, right? Chip jumps in and then all 5 members pop up. No Ruby on the board. I think Godspeed maybe want to ban that out here. If it goes into the hands of Night Horde, it could definitely be scary. We saw how well the Chip and the Ruby kind of pair up together and how it's able to immediately lock down the enemies once the shortcut comes up. Night Horde do hammer into the roam position, shortening out on a Joybaz's pitch. The Tigreal's gone, the Grok's gone. Still a possible Cho on the field for him if he wants it. So definitely keep our eyes open for that.
Yeah, the Cho can definitely be huge here. I mean, even the Mathilda has been banned out, so I think Cho could be a possible pickup. There goes that Ruby who you've seen kind of dominate, at least for today. This should be a Ruby inside of the gold lane, since we are seeing that Chip picked up, which will most likely be the roamer for the side of Godspeed. One option left to go for Mikasa, though. What is he going to put up against this Phobius? We've seen a lot of players pick up the Phobius, and not too many players have answers. We did see one answer, though, and that was a Khalid to go up against it when Nats pulled it up against Chicken. He was able to pull it off. I don't know if that's actually an answer to go up against the Phobius, but it did work. We saw a Glue put up against it, and just definitely did not hit where we expected it to. So definitely XP lane prowl so far is working in Godspeed's favor. We got to see what Night Horde pulls out against it.
Alaric pick. We saw that banned out a lot earlier, but we still haven't really seen it be a pick to pop off. It really needs to get positioned before hitting that, you know, Wrath of Dryad, that big ult. You have to be able to see it. Like, I don't know, it's a very straightforward, you see the animation coming, but with the Lu Yi, definitely some potential to catch them off by surprise, right? Definitely some play potential on the side of Godspeed. It's just not your typical fast-moving roamer that you would see Joybaj on normally. Nighthorde, their draft is meta, their draft is clean, the draft is scary with that chip. Now you add on even more AoE crowd control with the Khalid as well, and this is not a team you want to see jumping on top of you out of a shortcut.
Well, I'm a fan of this Khalid pickup, though, up against the Phoveus. I mean, I've been wondering what the answer is, and this is the second time I'm going to be able to see this Khalid go up against it. It worked the first time. Is the second time going to be the same story? Is this a possible counter to go toe-to-toe with it? Time will tell. Toru, though, picking up this Claude, I like it, right? Playing for the survivability. You have this chip on the opposite side of the playing field who has the element of surprise, who can catch you off guard, and what better way than to have a marksman who can get back to safety with the BMI at a moment's notice. A lot of crowd control, though, will be working on the side of Gosu Nighthorde as we are now jumping into game number 1 of the lower bracket semifinals. Godspeed up against Gosu Nighthorde in a best of 3. One team will move on forward to the lower bracket finals. One team will be sent home.
Yeah, and I gotta say, this is kind of the other side of the coin of, you know, BTK versus Cloud9, Godspeed up against Nighthorde. Because if I have to say, I think these two teams, I mean, it should be an amazing best of 3 here, right? It should go down the line. These two teams, I feel like, are close to each other in terms of power scaling. But let's see exactly how it plays out. Both teams have a lot of macro control with the only 2 teleporters in the hero pool, right? Have a lot of abilities to catch the other team by surprise. Who's going to be able to do it first? A little bit of play already on to Alcyone. Mikasa taking a little bit of damage as well. Godspeed, though, on the disengage. Oh, my foe with a dive in. Looking for more damage on the Divine. Divine forced to back off. Mikasa there to get the dive. Divine finally goes down. Oh, my foe picking up first blood.
Ooh, that's a good start for Gosu Nighthorde.
Ooh, and the restart, also taking a lot of damage, taken down. It's 2 kills for Gosu Nighthorde. Oh, my foe still with the advanced hero now, in a little bit of trouble, finally falls. Oh, my foe with 3 kills in the first minute and a half.
And there you go, Gosu Nighthorde looking to prove the world wrong, even us casters with the unanimous decision. 3-0 start in their favor, early and aggressive, and it looks like trying to be passive, trying to play on the defense, not working in Godspeed's favor. That's 3 kills to Oh My Foe on top of that. This is going to help him climb on these items to be even more effective on these objectives.
That's a lot of damage. I mean, Oh My, we keep on wondering where Suyo's gonna fit into the meta, and right now he seems to be doing great in the jungle. From Zane to Oh My Foe, it's quick moving, there's decent early game damage, and you just have a lot of options. He's almost like the Beatrix of the jungle right now, like how you have so many different ways to approach the fights. It's something that Suyo also gives you with all of his different skills. Look at the damage on a restart though. Mikasa able to get the death. Joybaj now getting involved as well for the disengage, but Gosu Nighthorde in control.
Yeah, 4-0 lead.
A lot of damage. Nighthorde should be okay. Maybe able to take the purple buff away. Oh My Foe takes the turtle. Now going to move on to this purple buff. Joybaj just trying to keep an angle, but I don't think Shiro's going to be able to fight for it. It's getting low. Shiro looking for the angle as well, but unable to get it. Does get stolen by Nighthorde. A lot of damage on Oh My Foe. Oh My Foe finally pays the price for his transgressions, for his aggression, but now Joybaj in trouble as well. Mikasa with the flicker in, tries to get the final hit. Unable to do it. Now maybe too deep. Joybaj still up, but they both go down. Mikasa and Joybaj trade blow for blow. Shortcut comes out. Shiro trying to escape. Right now, it is punch for punch. It is a slugfest.
Yeah, but Nighthorde throwing 7 punches to 2 up against Godspeed right now. Definitely winning these trades, being overly aggressive and also able to take a turtle on their side. War Axe picked up by Dez as well to help him sustain himself in the fight for a little bit longer. Hunter Strike picked up by Oh My Foe. Thunderbelt picked up by Mikasa. 3 minutes in, Trexton. We're almost at double digits for the side of Gosu Nighthorde in kills. A lot different than what we've seen in the first series with BTK and Cloud9, and I love to see the early engagement.
Yeah, I mean, if one of these teams is going to go out, they're definitely going to go out swinging. Ghost of Nighthorde knows their win con. They know they have some early game advantage. They know they can be aggressive, and that's what they're going to push in. Now looking for the orange buff. Oh My Foe gets position on it. Shiro still pushed back. Can he make the crazy play? Dez able to flicker in, get a nice I'm offended, get the lock up. With the duality does proc. Alcyone pulled in as well. And comes the Raging Sandstorm from the backside as Mikasa tries to stun them up. Blazing Duet from Toru, looking for Legend. The passive comes in and Toru can't get the finishing blow, but Mikasa does finally go down, restart. Able to get the kill, it's 2 for 0. Godspeed finally back on the map.
Yeah, need to be careful. I always say it, right? Overconfidence breeds arrogance, and when you have an advantage, you want to keep that advantage, and it's slowly starting to even out in this economy with 2 members falling for the side of Ghost of Nighthorde. DHS picked up over there by Toru as well. Didn't even go for the boots. He just went in. There goes the boots right there. He does have the DHS, though, so definitely able to soak into the heavy HP pool from the side of Ghost of Nighthorde.
Look at the damage on Divine, though. Shortcut does come out, and all members of Ghost of Nighthorde are starting to pounce. Alcyone getting low, but he's still okay. Divine finally falls. Joybaj able to get the kill onto Alcyone, though, and now Joybaj on the run as Dez picks it up. 2 for 1. Turtle over to the side of... Did Gosu get it, or did Godspeed? I missed it.
Gosu Nighthorde. No, Godspeed got it. It's 1-1 on the board regardless, so both sides are tied up with that turtle. 5-9. It was Godspeed who was the one to be able to get that turtle, though.
So a nice steal. Mikasa low. Godspeed trying to get the kill, but the quicksand guard just too much to help him sustain. Now Toru looking for the tower. Toru's got to get out with the BMI, and look at Alcyone into the backside. Able to stop Shiro in his tracks, but unable to get the kill. Godspeed and Nighthorde both looking for shots at every angle.
Yeah, looking for shots, but Nighthorde still in the lead in terms of kills, yet actually able to take a turret on the top side as well, so they have map advantage. Both sides even when it comes to the turtles, though, as you are looking at a lead in gold by 3,000 in Nighthorde's favor. Definitely credit to getting those early kills as soon as the match started by overwhelming Nighthorde in their jungle, and it looks like they're going to continue that same strategy, but they need to be careful now. I feel like with Restart in the mix on this Lu Yi, with them trying to rush in like that, it's going to be easier for him to hit that yin-yang overturn and hit them with that duality to be able to group them up for some massive damage. But also, we got to see these teleport and diversion plays come out.
Exactly how it plays. Godspeed at this point kind of falling behind, but they do have the Claude, right? They do have some late game potential, Wheezy. Like, there's some opportunity there, and you can tell that they're just kind of playing it slow. They've had to do the slow play before. It's not like it's something they're not used to, but having this chip, just having Godspeed on such, I mean, having Nighthorde on such an advantage, is there really does Godspeed have the late game that they want?
You know, we asked how effective the chip was, and we've definitely been seeing him be meta.
Ooh, Legend taking a lot of damage, but so is Restart. Restart the first to drop. Legend survives with a sliver of health and still staying in the fray. Joybaj trying to make his way down as Divine is all by his lonesome, fighting off for this turtle. Shiro just looking for a camp, just looking for anything, but keeps getting stunned up, unable to fully fight this out, has to use the chains just to get away. And Godspeed unable to take that final turtle on the map.
Yeah, and able to take that turtle for Gosu Nighthorde to extend this lead.
Oh! The damage is getting too much. Godspeed falling behind.
Yeah, Oh My Foe off to a great start. 5-1-1 on this Suyo. Just doing really great at finding these kills and paving the way for the early game. Some miscalculated plays from the side of Godspeed. Diversion play in.
Version does come up, big stun on Alcyone. Divine gets the demonic force off, but not enough damage still. Joybaj looking for an angle. Toru needs to start getting some shots off if they want to win out of this with the flicker. The Sandstorm locks on to members. Toru brought down, but Mikasa still falls. They're able to just dodge out of range. It's 1-for-1. Godspeed, hang on.
Yeah, Godspeed able to hold off right there, but still losing overall in this game. 2 turrets down in Gosu Nighthorde's favor, only able to take 1 turret on the top side to match up with it. They're down 1 turtle as well, and you're already seeing really the star right now being Oh My Foe on this Suyo, but I'm also keeping an eye on the ADCs. There goes a 1v1 matchup on the top side. Should be okay. Shouldn't really lead to anything. I don't expect Shiro to overextend right there. Dez doing great on this Ruby, though. He already has that War Axe in the Queen's Wings as well to keep himself alive, sustain himself in these fights. You are looking at a rotation on the bot side.
Restart. Immediately put out of his misery there. They tried to go for the diversion play, but go right into the members of Gosu Nighthorde. Toru trying to get the turnaround, but Mikasa and Oh My Foe are here to fight it out. Godspeed still getting pushed back. Every time they try to make a play, it turns around on him, and now Mikasa up against Toru. Divine now getting involved as well, but Alcyon's there to help out. Oh My Foe takes another orange buff. Shiro just trying to have a good time. Shiro's just trying to farm, man. He can't even do that.
Yeah, not able to farm. Toru also needs to farm as well. He needs to get that core Trinity build to be able to dish some damage, not only to Dez, but also to Mikasa and LC1. Even Oh My Foe, all of them being up close and personal and frontline fighters. You're going to go ahead and see the BOD, though, picked up by Oh My Foe to deal even more damage than he's already been dishing out.
Ooh, a lot of damage on to Dez. The diversion into the backside. Demonic Force comes out, but they're not able to get the kill. Blazing Duet pops off. Mikasa drops. Alcyone drops. Godspeed on the rise this time. It's a 2 for 3 right now. And Nighthorde turns it around, make it a full team wipe. Just when Godspeed thought they had it in their grasp, Gosu Nighthorde gets the outplay.
Okay, I thought Martis was the god of war, but I'm starting to think it's Suyo who's actually the god of war. Oh My Foe has been a problem this game. Definitely showcasing why you must ban him out. Now able to take the sword in Gosu Nighthorde's favor to not only extend this lead, but to also give them some breathing room and force Godspeed kind of back inside of their jungle. They really can't overextend too far. They do have the diversion plays. It was a good try with the backdoor play, but the damage from Oh My Foe, it's just too hard, and it hits like a truck when they're engaging, and they need to have a defense for it.
Yeah, when Suyo's in that immortal form too, he gets into this tankier mode. He gets 20% damage reduction. He can really just hang out. And the fact that Oh My Foe is just building full damage items right now, he's a tanky boy, and he's just outputting. So it is definitely Godspeed has to find an answer. And the fact that they don't have that much crowd control, really, they just have Baj, who, as we said on the Belleric, it is very easy to read when that ult's coming in, when that Wrath of Dryad's coming in. So I don't know how Godspeed is going to turn this around, but the Lord is coming in. Godspeed playing the range. Watch for the big sandstorm from Mikasa. Any moment it's going to dive into the backside. Baj taking a lot of damage. Lord still coming in. The I'm offended. Hold Baj's back. The Glacier comes down, gets the freeze, but a nice knockup does connect from Godspeed. Oh My Foe finally finds Toru. Restart. Able to take Alcyone. Dez still holding the front side of Divine. Just tries to fend them off. Restart trying to shred down the Lord. A little bit of damage on Dez, but here comes Sandstorm into the backside. Getting stun on a Restart and Divine. Quick guard comes out from Mikasa, getting some health back. Dez finally disengages, and Godspeed is still hanging on. But this has been the story. They hang on as much as they can, but Nighthorde just keeps on taking more.
Hey, they got what they came for, right? They weren't going to close it out. They were just trying to take some inhibitors, able to take down 2. Definitely worth it for Gosu Nighthorde. One step closer to possibly closing out game number 1. Already a massive advantage in climbing 22-9 at the 12-minute mark, up by 13,000 gold. 8 turrets in and 2 turtles. Only losing 1 turtle and 1 turret to trade for it. Right now, they've just been able to get to these objectives a lot faster and a lot earlier than Godspeed. It started with just Oh My Foe coming online and getting several kills within the first few minutes of this game. He's just been climbing up this ladder. The damage is definitely there, and he's ready to dish it out. Now Godspeed left to defend, left to hold them off. But can they do it? They only have 1 inhibitor on the bot side, and this is a little bit of a shocker, right? I mean, a lot of people, even us on the casters, just kind of consider them maybe possibly being the underdogs, but it's not looking like that. It's looking like they found the synergy that they were looking for yesterday, and it is thriving up against Godspeed right now. But can they keep up this momentum?
I mean, you said it, man. Oh My Foe. He's got half the kills right now of his team. He's 10-1-5. Ghost Nighthorde has 20 kills. He's done 50% of the murders against Godspeed. This man is in control, and having the Ruby, having Alcyone, having the Khalid, it just is this perfect wall that Godspeed can't seem to break through. They got to try to use the diversion, but last time they did that, they pretty much shot themselves in the foot. For this time, Toru going for the macro play up in the top side. Gosu Nighthorde just wants the Lord. Fine, take a tower or 2. It's okay. We know we can win out in the long run.
Yeah, but they need to watch out for the split push. Nighthorde has been vulnerable to that before, and it has cost them a game just from the split pushing and not paying attention to where that ADC is. So definitely don't want to take that lightly, and I feel like they've learned from that experience. There goes the diversion play. It's going to boost up Shiro into the mid. Almost caught out of position and punished by Nighthorde, who's keeping full control of the Lord Pit. Not even able to step in there. Look at the split push from Mikasa on the top side, too. Some great wave management.
A lot of damage on Abaj there. Going to get pulled back in with the I'm offended. Oh my foe with another kill in his pocket. The man's stacked right now. The man's fed right now. And now there's a double onto Divine. Can he find more? The big sandstorm to flicker onto 2 members. Oh my foe. Shredding him down. A triple. A quad. Make it a mani. Make it a savage. Oh my foe. Oh my lord. Oh my god. This man is moving on. He's 15-1-5, and Nighthorde will seal game 1.
A flawless victory, able to get a savage, putting the icing on the cake and throwing on a cherry on top of it. Gosu Nighthorde has found their synergy and looking better than ever. How do we see them respond to this loss? Godspeed, not able to find the objectives. The early push, too much to deal with, and oh my foe, oh my goodness, oh my lord, was he online with the Suyo?
Oh my Jolly G Willikers, oh my everything. That's all we're going to be saying for the next 2 games if things keep on rolling like this. Gosu Nighthorde, man, looks like they found some identity, and that is early game aggression, stay in their face. Now, was it just the chip? Was it just the Suyo? I don't know, but right now Nighthorde looked like monsters, and Godspeed looked like week 1 again.
Yeah, and this is rough. I mean, keep in mind, this is not the regular season. This is not points. This is not a best of 5. This is a best of 3, which means Gosu Nighthorde is 1 step away from earning their spot in the lower bracket semifinals and taking down Godspeed. If they win 1 more match, they will be going up against the Bloodthirsty Kings. Godspeed needs to find a way to turn this around. That was too much of a domination. I mean, there was a lot of, I would say, high-value picks that went over to the side of Gosu Nighthorde as well. They got the Chip. They got the Suyo. They got the Khalid. They got the Ruby.
The Ruby?
It's like, God, Lee, you traded for a Belleric, a Lu Yi.
For a Belly Boy and a Lu Yi. I don't know what's going on. Definitely, yeah, I think in terms of draft, Nighthorde stomped. In terms of gameplay, Nighthorde stomped. They knew exactly what they had, and they knew how to perform it. This is literally the first minute and a half, and it was 3 kills into Oh My Foe.
Trex, I think we know who the dark horse is for the NACT fall season. For certain, it's definitely going to be Gosu Nighthorde in the playoffs. I mean, just great execution. Looks like a totally different team from what we've seen in yesterday's performance. Not able to go the distance up against BTK, losing with a 3-0 sweep. But today, they set the record straight with a flawless execution for a game 1, and to top it off with a savage to close out that game.
And just the savage did it. That was it. That was Gosu Nighthorde telling all of us casters that voted for Godspeed, what is wrong with you guys? But honestly, we cannot sign the checks just yet. Nighthorde still needs 1 more game to cash out, right? They still need 1 more game to finish things. Godspeed needs to pull it together, though, because as you said, this ain't no 4 points, right? This ain't no, you still got another week to play. This is life or death on the line in NACT, and we got to give it up to Nighthorde, man. They have never been a team to reach top 3. They've been hunting for it for a while now. I think it's been about 4 NACTs that they've been in. They've been looking for this opportunity for a minute. So, well, props deserved to them, win or lose here. But I think they really want this win.
They definitely want that win. I mean, after that savage, it's going to be hard to top off in a game number 2. But I will tell you what, they're going to be riding on momentum when they jump into game number 2, especially after that performance. But they want to make sure they keep a level head, keep it together, and not overextend. I mean, I really am curious, like, the beginning. Just the massive amount of kills that racked up over there by Oh My Foe out of nowhere on the Suyo. I'm like, was it just because the execution of the rotations were just that much better? than Godspeed, or was it just the fact that they had Suyo who walked through the draft? We're going to be figuring that out as we are now jumping into game number 2. And there you have it, Suyo already being banned off the board for Godspeed.
Yeah, both the big problems, and you said it. I think it's a combination of multiple things last game. I think it's a Suyo. I think it's a chip. I think it's the fact that Godspeed had the Belleric and had no real defense against the invasions. I think it's just a mixture of all these things in one pot melted up and poured on top of Godspeed. This time Godspeed has to recalculate. They need to draft a little better, play a little better, play against their strong suit. We saw what they did so well when they faced against BTK, and that's, again, man, I hate to keep on saying his name, but Baji needs something aggressive. He needs a diver, and if what that means is slotting him up early on, that has to be the answer. And here goes the Matilda. Here comes the moves in groups.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something he's comfortable on. He can keep the team alive and also bring them back to safety, but also initiate with the circling eagle. Speaking of initiations, though, we are going to see the Alpha picked up super early. Will be slotted into the jungle by Shiro. Looks like they're forming up a strategy after that domination for game number 1. But speaking of dominations, we also got to look back at the other side of the table, right? We got to look back at the trades. I think we and you both can agree the trades in the drafts were not matching up. The math was not mathing with what they were allowing to walk over to Gosu Nighthorde's favor. And now what we're looking at is a Phoveus with a Katat. I think it's an okay trade for the Mathilda, but for the Alpha, I'm still wondering, right? We got to see how it kind of comes into play. We don't even know who the jungler is going to be for Gosu Nighthorde. We know that they have the capability to play the assassins. A Hayabusa can still sneak up here in the mix. We are going to be able to possibly see the Julian walk again. It's been such a threat so far with even Series 1. It's been very huge.
I think if it ends up being an assassin, that's when, like if it's a Hayabusa, that's when we might see Dez lock into the jungle. I think if that ends up being the play, I think if it's something a bit more stationary, like the Suyo, like the Bane, that's when we might see On My Foe. I think it just kind of depends on how they want to play this off. But, you know, not just Nighthorde wanting to get these big wins here, Dez as well, first time really showing out on the NACT. It is huge if they win this game, right? It is huge. It kind of cements Dez as well as, you know, maybe number 3, maybe On My Foe. I mean, who do we even put as the jungler who earned the spot to? Who do we put as the number 3 jungler if they win? So many questions, but it doesn't matter. We got the draft here. Alice gets banned out. Jushin banned out as well. Both teams, or no, Nighthorde still need a jungler. Godspeed, on the other hand, need a gold laner and a mage.
It's kind of hard, even when you say this is a battle for the number 3 jungle for North America.
Or but number 2, if they win. Who knows? You know, I'm not kind of short. Or number 2. You never know.
All right. Or number 2. Hey, he said it. So, yo, when it happens, you know who to blame, okay? But as we are looking at this, I do agree. It's definitely a lot on the line. But when it comes to Dez, you know, being a possible top jungler, he's flexing to this gold position a lot. So I'm wondering how that's going to play. You know, On My Foe, he's definitely been running more in that jungle position, at least lately, from what we've been seeing. It was effective for the last game, though. I mean, the man was on fire. What do we say? On My Foe, oh my God, oh my Lord. We're going to keep that train rolling as we jump into game number 2. But I am looking at a specific pick right now, and that is going to be this Glue. We got to see Glue be very effective during the regular season, but it just hasn't really hit the mark in the playoffs. Can this turn this around and give him the credit he deserves? Will he be a deciding factor to be able to shut down Nighthorde and even out this series? You are going to be looking at the Glue going up against the Phoveus. This is exactly what Nats tried to do to Chicken, and it didn't work.
Did not work at all. But also, we do have to give it up. There was a Cho on the opposing team, and Nats was continuously getting kicked in the face. So, I mean, it's not exactly that Nats was super losing his lane. He was getting bullied by 3 members of BTK. So, I'm not completely counting out the Glue. I do think it's a little off-brand. Some EXP laners can pull it off, but it can be questionable at times for sure. But now the rest of these picks are getting slotted in very quick. Very quick. On My Foe on the Nolan. Dez on the Harith. What is going to be Godspeed's mage pick here? Lilia?
Totally again? Going to pick up this Claude, so that's going to be some survivability in the gold lane. And there goes a Sicilian pick up. Ooh. Hey, I love to see it. This is something that's been rising to the occasion this NACT season. I mean, it's been hitting like a truck, able to fight from afar with the Bats Feast and do a lot of damage with the Bats Impact as well. And both sides are going to be officially locked in for game number 2. Now, Trex, game number 1 was a full annihilation in Gosu Nighthorde's favor, able to take down Godspeed, no problem at all. How does Godspeed turn this around?
It's definitely questionable, right? This time they do have a little bit more of a bulky boy in the jungle, and I think Shiro, we saw him do great on the Bane previously in previous games. I think he could do much better on this alpha. I think we've also seen Restart on the Sicilian before, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to double check, but I'm pretty sure we've seen him on this. I feel like this draft feels a little more Godspeed. A lot of it's going to depend, though, on how Baj plays in this Matilda. He's played well on it before, but again, it is not the big setter. It is aggressive. It does give him some moves. It gives the whole team some movement, but we'll see exactly how it plays out as we jump in to game number 2, match point for Nighthorde.
That's right, both sides fighting it out. Godspeed and Gosu Nighthorde in the lower bracket semifinals, a best of 3. One more game to go for Gosu Nighthorde. If they close this out, it will be a 2-0 sweep, and then we'll move on forward to the lower bracket finals up against the Bloodthirsty Kings. But if Godspeed is able to turn this game around after that domination, they will be able to even out the series and have another chance to not be knocked out of the NACT.
Yeah, when Godspeed went against BTK, they won their first game using the Sicilian. And then they lost with the Sicilian in game number 2. In game number 3 that they won again against BTK, they also, Matilda was slotted in for Baj. So it's not like these picks are bad exactly for Godspeed. It's just if they can pull it off. I will say this, Gosu Nighthorde, I don't think they're going to be able to be maybe as aggressive as they were last time, but only time will tell.
Yeah, time is definitely of the essence, and it's going to tell the story between both these teams fighting it out for game number 2. As we are seeing in the XP lane matchup, the Phoveus up against this Glue. We got to see, is the Glue a counter response? Is it effective to be able to keep this Phoveus at bay? One of the highest prioritized XP laners so far for MLBB.
Yeah, so taking a look at some of these heroes, I want to take a look at Toru on this sprint with the Claude, and we saw this the other day, I think. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was, I think maybe it was Basic with the sprint on the Claude, and we were kind of questioning it. We were wondering exactly how it was going to perform. I do kind of like the Purify. I think it's the better pick. If you really feel aggressive, if you want to go for the more macro play, the more running around, controlling off lanes, it could be the route, but it's definitely a bit more dangerous of a route to pick up the sprint.
Speaking of routes, Turtle will go over to Gosu Nighthorde, maybe able to get a little bit more if Godspeed is not careful. Does drop in onto Restart with the avatar of the Guardian. Not going to be able to lead to a kill, but with that Turtle on the side of Gosu Nighthorde, it will give him the slightest advantage.
Yeah, first Turtle goes in the hands of Gosu Nighthorde. It's only 300 gold lead, 200 at this point. Godspeed, I think this is a composition very similar to what we saw previous week. They want to slow play this, and as long as they can let Gosu Nighthorde not invade them, not snowball, they'll be able to do that. I think having the Alpha 2 gives them a nice early mid-game spike as well, that they can maybe find an opportunity to scale early on. And if that does not work, they still have the Sicilian for late game. Nighthorde, on the other hand,
both sides fighting it out. That's Impact and the Feast going down. Restart fighting from afar. LC1 very low. Dez will find Shiro. Restart responding back, takes down LC1. The flicker in from Dez. Cosmic Vision. Legend will take down Divine. Joybaj may be next. Mikasa with the Demonic Force. 3 members down for Godspeed. A 3-1 on the scoreboard.
I think overall Nighthorde's just proving that in terms of micro mechanics, the 5v5, they may just be the better team, right? If you want to take a fight on, we got you. Especially they have the Nolan. Oh My Foe has shown that whatever you put in his hands, he's going to be able to make an impact. Legend as well, and Dez finally to kind of wrap it up. I think these are 3 players that we can really keep our eyes on this game because they're going to be impactful.
Yeah, and right now, the impact is something I'm going to be watching out for, specifically on Restart with this Sicilian. But look at the pressure from Nighthorde into the jungle of Godspeed. Forces out that retry play. It does go over to, I think Shiro got it, right? I don't think they were able to contest it. Yeah,
no Shiro did not. That's bad. This is exactly what Nighthorse just, it worked first game. If they can invade and pressure Shiro again in game number 2, why not? They've been doing it so well, and unless Godspeed finds an answer to that, they're gonna pay for it.
And right now, the Alpha Charge is gonna go out. The immobilization Mikasa using the Demonic Force. That's Impact connecting from Restart, fighting from afar. Yet again, Legend will find Shiro. No Retry play for the side of Godspeed. Divine finding LC1, a 1-for-1 trade. But right now, you are seeing Godspeed trying to close in on this turtle still, forcing Nighthorde to disengage. Neither side will be able to get the objective.
And overall, a roam for a jungler is a great trade for Nighthorde. And now they're also going to get this tower up in the top side to add even more into that bank. Oh, my foe takes the turtle just to really sweeten the deal there. Nighthorde back on a rampage.
Yeah, able to take not only a turtle, but also a turret, a massive start, and leading by 2 kills in the early game, now hitting 5 minutes in. Not a high kill game, especially compared to game number 1, but a lot of things still working in Nighthorde's favor. Godspeed just trailing behind them in the objectives, not even able to deal a dent of damage in any of the turrets so far. They need to find a way to get this momentum rolling for them, or they're going to find themselves knocked out of this NACT. I mean, this is make it or break it. This is a potential match point to decide if they can move on forward or be knocked out by Gosu.
Yeah, Godspeed, I think it's really just at this point, it's waiting for the rubber band to happen, right? Waiting for the snap back to happen. And what that means is Restart and Toru finally getting to a point where they can output the damage. Even at this point, I don't know if Shiro should build too much attack items. I think, really, honestly, maybe go a bit more defensive. I mean, they're not completely out. It's only a 3K deficit. It's still only 6 minutes in. They could find a spike at 7 or 8 minutes. But if that doesn't happen, if they don't get a big turnaround at 7-8 minutes, we're talking late game.
Yeah, and hopefully Godspeed can make it to the late game. You are seeing the tier 3 turret pushed in by the side of Gosu and may be able to get a little bit more. LC1 in the heart of the battle. Shiro will punish him on the aggressive setup he was looking for with this Gatot. But on the bot side, the split push from Oh My Foe should be able to take this tier 2 turret.
Yeah, so now, I mean, and there's Nighthorde just continuously finding purchase on the map, whether they're fighting the middle, someone else, we see them taking a tower on the offside. You know, last week we saw Godspeed as a very different team. It feels like today we're seeing Nighthorde as a very different team. We even heard it from Marcuti. He felt like Godspeed was probably the favorite here. He felt like Godspeed was going to come into this stronger, but Ghost and Nighthorde have flipped the switch.
Yeah, and right now they plan on keeping that switch on. Godspeed needing to find a way to turn it off. Both sides fighting over this turtle yet again, but Nighthorde being aggressive and being objective focused, able to gain control of the pit and secure the 3rd turtle of this game. Only losing 1 turret so far. Right now, just another dominating performance.
All right, so Godspeed, what do they do here? They try not to lose Divine.
Oh, he's going to fall, though. Legend will be the one to find that kill, his 3rd kill of the game.
Going to be another kill on the board for Legend. I mean, everyone at this point on the side of Ghost and Nighthorde. It's not a... Wait!
There's a fracture play from Oh My Foe. He almost got a double right there. Just look at the damage.
I mean, Godspeed can't even hang right now. 1 fracture lands, another shot comes in, and members are going down. Taking a look at the items, let's take a look at Oh My Foe. He's got Hunter Strike, went straight for Bod as 2nd damage item. He is packing a punch, and with the passive of Hunter Strike, he's able to hit that hit and move out quickly as long as the passive procs, or chase him down quickly as long as the passive procs.
Yeah, and right now, both sides fighting it out in the jungle. Great crowd control provided by Restart with the Sanguine Claws. Grouping up Nighthorde, but not going to stop them from pushing up this map. Oh My Foe! Off screen is going to catch Shiro. His 3rd death of the game. Oh My Foe, his 1st kill of the game so far, but more engagement on the top side. Right now, Godspeed trying to stop Gosu from pushing into their base. Now going to battle over this tier 2 turret for the mid lane. Can they deny them? Can they clear out this minion? Yes, they can. And now Gosu will retreat.
I mean, and honestly, having this, having Restart on the Sicilian and having the Claude, they're 2 great Lord Shredders. They're 2 great defense heroes. 2 heroes that can pair up. Wait a second, a little bit of action on the live cam.
Yeah, you are seeing both sides fighting it out on the orange buff yet again. Who will win this engagement? The split activates. Oh My Foe will burst down Divine even while he's on top of him. Right now, Circle Eagle may connect, but Dez will shut it down with the Synchro Fizz. Shiro will find Mikasa, a 2-for-1 trade working in Gosu's favor. Can Shiro make the difference though? Legend very low, forced to go back. Toru rushes in. BMI, Blazing Duet. Oh My Foe will shut him down just in time before LC1 falls, able to live for another fight.
Toru thought Toru thought he was being smooth. He's like, I'm waiting for the Bat's Feast, the IMU to end. I come in with a Blazing Duet, but Oh My Foe said, oh my no, fracture to the face, takes out Toru. Toru's not looking good. This man's got 2 items right now. He still needs to finish out the Trinity build. It's 5,700 gold at 10 minutes in. He has fallen behind.
Yeah, now going to be able to take this Lord for Gosu. Keep in mind, they only have inhibitors to push through for Godspeed, and with that Lord, they may be able to do that. We're only at the 10-minute mark, and you're seeing a massive advantage in objectives, completely scaling and outclassing Godspeed this entire series. But Restart could be the difference with the Bat's impact, with those stacks, to be able to deal some massive damage, but they have to play for the late game.
Yeah, and let's all remind you, it has to be the difference. It has to be the difference for Godspeed because this is match point. This is not a best of 5. And with Lord coming in, with Nighthorde coming in, this could be the end for Godspeed.
Yeah, they're looking for a game closer to secure their spot in the lower bracket finals. Lord will open up the base. Oh My Foe takes the inhibitor. Shiro will find LC1. Joybosh finding Mikasa. Dez, the respawn back, finds Divine. A 2-for-2 trade with the Lord now in distance for the base. Crystal quickly bursted down by the side of Godspeed, but minions still marching through with the side of Gosu pushing. BMI, Blazing Duet from Toru. Joybosh able to get the shutdown onto Oh My Foe. Dez finding Toru to respond back. Legend by himself as Joybosh finds the double kill. Godspeed able to out-sustain, able to push back Gosu from closing out this game.
Shiro finally doing some damage. This is probably going to be his first orange buff that he gets out of the game, maybe a second or third, but either way, Shiro finally finding some moments. He's getting a bit more defensive. He's got the brute force in. He's got the wings in. He's got the war axe in. Maybe we finally see a moment where Godspeed can bounce back here. With that defense, they lose 2 inhibitors. It's definitely going to be a long road, but maybe there's a chance.
May be a chance, but needs to be careful on being overly aggressive. Shiro already very low. Nighthorde trying to find a mistake, trying to kind of be similar to where they were opening up this game, being very aggressive. But now there's a little bit of fighting power from Godspeed to be able to go the distance.
So does Godspeed try to contest the next Lord now that they found a little rhythm, right? Because honestly, I think they may need to. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive another big push. Maybe yes. Toru's finally got the Trinity in. Restart also. The Clock of Destiny should be like fully stacked by now. The Glowing Wand. He just locked in the Lantern as well, which adds even more damage onto his Bat's impact. So there's definitely some possibilities from Godspeed here. Baj gets the Winter Crown locked in. Items are starting to flow for Godspeed, but it's still a 5,000k deficit. Nighthorde still highly in control of the map. So does Godspeed go for the Lord at this time around, Weezy?
I think that's the question that we're going to get some answers to here momentarily. If they take this push on the Lord, they got to make it worth it. They got to find a way to pick off Gosu. They could even go for, even a split push would be a little risky because there's a lot of insurance. Even if Gosu messes this up, they have a lot of turrets that Godspeed would have to push through. Looks like they may be going in for this Lord play indeed. Joyboz already in distance for possible guiding win. Restart needs to get in there for this damage, but forced to kind of split off and deal damage to these minions.
Yeah, they are playing it though. I mean, Godspeed does seem like maybe they want to fight this. Once they clear these minions, Shiro's going to look for an angle in. But I think Ghost and Nighthorde's smart about it. They know they have control of map. They know they're up. They don't have to really rush Lord exactly.
Yeah, but he did just spot out Toru, force out the Demonic Force. This is the problem with Phobius. Once you initiate, you can't disengage, which is going to force Gosu to expand upon that and take this fight. But will it work in their favor? Winter Crown has been procced by LC1, but hit with the Alpha Charge. Joyboz will take him down. with the final touches. One member shy for the side of Gosu Nighthorde. Winter Crown proc over there as well from the side of Godspeed, and they're able to withstand that fight and win the trade.
And Godspeed is starting to close the distance. That 5K I was just talking about is, you know, we're getting it down to about 4K at this point. Godspeed also, for the first time in a while, wins out on the fight. And here comes another big play.
Yeah, both sides fighting it out. High value target. They know how important this Lord is. Nobody gonna let it go for free. This is where you're gonna start to see Restart hit like a truck, but his positioning is gonna be huge. He needs to fall back and extend that range and hit Nighthorde and force them out of the Lord Pit. Neither side yet to be able to find this objective.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow burn right now. But Gosu Nighthorde might be trying to rush it here. Let's see if Godspeed can get the play.
Sanguine Claws goes out onto LC1. Joyboz wrapping around, looking for a possible play. Oh My Foe will be able to get the Lord for Gosu. Dez finding Joyboz. Bats Impact, Bats Feast. May not be enough to stop them. LC1 will get a kill, but Divine will shut him down. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. Restart. Finding Mikasa with the Bats Impact. Split connecting onto Oh My Foe. Divine with a double kill. Dez looking for a punish. Zaman Force dropping down. Synchro Fission may be able to go in, but there's the split. Toru trying to join the party. Legend will shut down Divine. All while the Lord is marching through the mid lane. But Legend and Dez, they're not enough to be able to close out this game, which means Godspeed has bought themselves some time.
Yeah, I thought they might go for the 2v2, but the clock, I think, was a little too close on Joybaj. They're not even able to get the tower, so yeah, Godspeed doesn't buy their time, but I mean, the more time they bought, the more of a possible lead, essentially, but just because of the damage that's starting to stack on Restart, the damage that's starting to stack on Toru. Toru just got his last item and he's finally got Malefic Roar. Restart almost completely decked out as well. And I wish there was a stack counter that we could see from spectator mode. Moonton, come on, give us something whenever the Sicilian plays. I want to know what Restart's sitting at right now.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen a bomb that doesn't explode after 20 minutes. So if we get to that 20-minute mark, that Sicilian's going to start hitting like a truck. And that's something that Gosu Nighthorde is going to need to watch out for. They need to find a way to get to the back line and catch him out of position. I mean, he's doing great, right? He's only 2-1-7, but only finding 1 death at 16 minutes in is very impressive. Lowest deaths on his team right now, which is huge. For the side of Godspeed, though, they're doing a great job in providing that pressure. But right now, this is where wave management is going to start to boil into things. There's a lot of turrets still in Gosu Nighthorde's favor, which means they're going to be a lot more comfortable traversing across the map.
Definitely, but I mean, do we say at this point, even though it's a 2K gold lead for Gosu, do we think that in terms of just 5v5, it's even? Because I do feel like it's getting to that point, right? And do we think it's there now?
I definitely think it's there now. I think if Restart can join the fight, it's going to make the difference. Look at the heals from Joybox. Look at all the shielding he has right there. Able to kind of sustain himself and the entire team. Forcing out the Winter Crown, the immobilization on him. Mikasa, both sides fighting it out. Oh my God, the Crasher finds Joybox. No more heals for the side of Godspeed. May have been a mistake. Winter Crown in the heart of the battle. LC1 need to get out of there. Restart with Sanguine Claws. Dealing some damage onto Mikasa. Forcing Nighthorde back into the jungle.
And we're getting to a point now where even when you lose a member like that, sometimes the team with 4 members, it's almost everyone is like, okay, we actually have to fight this. We have to try to even the playing field. Because once this Lord comes up, if you're down a member, most likely you're out of the Lord. And you could see there, Godspeed, like, no, let's make this fight go longer. We can get one of them. We can get one of them. But Gosu Nighthorde disengages very well. And now Nighthorde with the advantage. Bosch finally getting into the map.
Yeah, looks like Gosu may be able to get this objective. Still fighting it out. A big taunt. Connecting. Mikasa trying to deal some damage on my foe. We'll be able to get the Lord. Restart. We'll find Mikasa on this Phobius. Gets a double. Finds LC1. What do we say? A time bomb. Not even at 20 minutes. And starting to burst down Gosu with ease. They are going to have to force out of the jungle. But they're able to get this Lord, which should be a stalemate possibly. But the respawn timer is very high. Looks like Godspeed's going to go in for the push in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's 30 seconds on the clock pretty much for Gosu Nighthorde, Mikasa, and Alcyon just hitting 20 seconds. Lord getting shredded down. Godspeed just ready to shove this down the middle. Did the late game comp come through for Godspeed? Will they end this?
It looks like it's going to be the game plan, but one misstep could decide everything for either side in this game, and that may be a misstep right there from Oh My Foe. Joyboz trying to find the setup with the circling eagle, not going to be able to get it, not going to lead to a kill, but every decision right now is costly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, honestly, now Godspeed, it's no longer tied. Godspeed are the ones who are going to continue scaling even past the items. They're just going to keep getting stronger as this game moves forward, whereas Ghost and Nighthorde has hit their plateau, right? Everyone's got their items, but no one's going to continue scaling like Restart will. So Ghost and Nighthorde really has to outplay here, right? They're not just going to outscale. They have to outplay. Oh My Foe, though, hiding in the bush. How does this go?
I don't think they know he's there.
Yeah, but does he really want to do this?
No!
Oh!
He goes for it!
No!
Can he get the kill, though? Winter Crown, look at Legend, trying to get there in time. Maybe able to expand and deal some damage. Use the IMU, use the circling eagle. Toru, very low. Immortality being proc. Mikasa and Dez joining the party. Gosu pulling up. Mikasa will find Joyboz, 2 members down for the side of Godspeed. Maybe more in climbing. 3 members left to go through. A possible finish. A miscalculation. Can they do it? Restart. Finding a shutdown. Takes out Alcy1. But Mikasa, Legend, Oh My Foe, and Dez now entering the base. Minions in the mid. Minions in the bottom. Salmon Force dropping down from Dez. Divine in the heart of the battle. Forced to use the split. Burst it down, and Immortality has been proc. Shiro may fall. Sanguine Claws for the connection alpha charge. Able to get the setup. Shiro finding Mikasa, but the base crystal will be bursted down. You see a lot of smiles across the board. And Gosu Nighthorde able to close out this game against Godspeed.
Gosu Nighthorde. When you doubt them out, they come in clean for the first time. The Nighthorde name moves on to the number 3 slot. Well earned with a great 2-0 sweep. And even in game 2, when their composure was almost broken, when Godspeed almost breaks through, Gosu Nighthorde get him in one fail swoop.
Yeah, just took us by surprise. They ruined my flawless prediction rate, but hey, I love to see a great series, and this is a totally different Gosu Nighthorde than what we've seen yesterday in their performance, and I would love to see how they go up against BTK, as this means they're officially going to be moving on to the lower bracket finals for another shot at Gloria, a chance to be a grand finalist. Man, it's hard to even say who I'd give MVP to. The domination, the rotations, the execution from their entire team is what made the difference to be able to topple over Godspeed.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, Ghost and Nighthorde just, I think, came in so clean. It's such... We were very worried about them, and they seem to have found their identity completely. And that is, you know, you love to see it. You love a team that goes through some growing pains and then comes in the next day, a completely different team, just playing impeccably. And even with the fact that they had some trouble in that second game, and then coming at the end with the big play, the big bait from Oh My Foe there. Legend comes in the nick of time, and they turn that fight into their own hands. Even after losing Alcyone, they know, hey man, it's 4v3. We could take this tower. Yeah, and able to claim that game. One small step for them, but a huge victory in terms of staying inside of the NACT, where it's make it or break it. We're getting almost to the top of this ladder. We're almost to the final moments where we'll be able to see which 2 teams will be the grand finalists. But now they're going to be fighting the biggest challenge they faced yet. If you thought Godspeed gave them some trouble, we got to see how they fare off against the Bloodthirsty Kings. Yeah, I mean, if there's a time, though, for them to fare well against them, Nighthorde's definitely going to have their blood pumping right now, right? They're going to feel comfy right now. They're going to be nice and warmed up coming in off the win, but BTK is going to come in angry also, ready to play. So let's see which one chumps out on the other, but I don't want to get ahead of myself because we gotta bid our farewell to Godspeed, ranking number 4. I mean, a lot of us were Baj fans. A lot of us wanted to see Godspeed do well, but just like the last series, you know, NACT's at a point where we've gotten to know and grow on all of these teams. And I think if there's a team that deserves the number 3 slot, the number 2 slot, if there's a team that deserves to be where they are right now, it is definitely Nighthorde.
Yeah, just a really good victory for Nighthorde. But I mean, like you said, it's a little bittersweet to say goodbye to a team we've been kind of watching grow through the NACT fall season. Godspeed officially knocked out. Joybaj, the Baji boy, has now been put to a close, but we look forward to seeing him in future NACTs to come. Trex, we only got 3 teams left, man. We only got 3.
It's crazy, man. That's so crazy. Zeke, what's going on?
Yeah.
This whole world's upside down.
If Nighthorde can find their identity, so can I. You guys can call me Ikizi from now on. Beautiful gameplay coming from the side of Gosu Nighthorde. Definitely rocking the boat. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, definitely congratulations to them, man. Gosu Nighthorde. The compilation that nobody thought would happen. Gosu and Nighthorde on one logo. Dez on a main position. Oh, my foe as well, man. The guy's been around forever, man. The guy's been doing this NACT thing for a very long time. And like I said, this just feels like the season of rising stars all around the map.
Yeah, and you love to see it, right? I feel like every single season we get one step closer to getting more powerhouse names and to combine 2 names that we've been seeing fight time and time again in NACT, Nighthorde and Gosu, all into one compilation, as you say, is a sight to see.
All right. Speaking of a sight to see, I think I've got somebody waiting for me, so you two don't go too far. What is up, man? Congratulations.
Thank you.
But what I need from you, take a breath. How does it feel? A lot of the casters, actually all of the casters, we all thought that Godspeed was going to take it. I think with some of that different pressure, we made that assumption. Other people made that assumption. What did that pressure feel like for you guys?
Honestly, coming into this, although I'm nervous, it's more adrenaline. Like I'm pumped, I'm ready, I'm excited. It's like an excited nervousness. So that's how we were all feeling. We're like, all right, guys, this is it. We got to do our best. We got to get this win and try our best. Even if we lose, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we just had a good mentality.
Was there anything you guys were specifically looking for going into the Godspeed matchup?
Yeah, so we know that their roamer, Joybaj, plays very aggressive. And he likes to invade a lot. That's why we chose strong early game junglers so that we could counter their invades. And yeah, it worked out well for us because they didn't invade.
All right, so you guys did take a loss to BTK with foe on Roam. You're back on Roam. You guys landed a savage on your jungler. Are you confident going into this next game?
Well, we know it's going to be pretty tough, but I feel like we could this is our 3rd time going against BTK this NACT. So I feel like we could do better this round now that we have experience fighting them. And I'm back. Yesterday, foe doesn't roam. We put foe on roam yesterday because I was not able to play because I had clinicals at the hospital for school. So yeah, but now I'm back. So this is our main lineup and we're stronger than ever.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you guys. So far, if nothing else, Nighthorde goes to Nighthorde now, a top 3 team in North America. How does that feel for you? How does it feel for you knowing that you got to be part of that?
That honestly, for me, that feels amazing. I was super happy when I made top 8. That was honestly like the goal for me. I never expected to get this far. It's a miracle, but I'm so happy because last NACT I participated and I lost first round. So coming here is like, it's amazing.
Hey, every dog has its day. I will say, you guys have worked really hard for this, so don't discredit yourself. It might feel like a miracle, but so far, everything that you guys have accomplished has been through meticulous studying and work and practice, and that absolutely showed out tonight. Even in your answers so far, you guys, it sounds like you came as prepared as you could have.
Yeah. Well, we do practice scrims, so we learn a lot from those, and just like playing together. Like Fo's really good at shot calling, but we're not used to playing around his shot calls, and it took us like, I'd say like a few weeks or a month to like get better at knowing what he wants and expects from us. So our synergy was just built up during that time.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, but I'm going to let you go before I keep asking you questions that gives away all of Night Horde's secrets. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you guys perform against BTK.
Yep. Thank you for having me on here.
What a guy. He's just so smiley, and I love that. I'm honestly super excited for Night Horde. Obviously, we all thought that Godspeed was going to be able to take control and really put in that work against Night Horde, but for it to be a complete flip of that, I do think that this has been a long coming moment for Night Horde, but I do also feel like this might be that legacy. This might be that playoffs experience that we saw a lot of last NACT showing through. Teams that have been here for a while know what the pressure is like, and they're able to come prepared. I think that definitely might have taken part of that as well.
Yeah, I think, first of all, with the interview real quick, it's really refreshing seeing like a new face like that, and someone that's like excited to win their game, excited to get to this spot. Someone that like none of us really knew Alcyone very well before this NACT, and it's cool how I don't know, it's refreshing to see new faces and be like, we came in, we just wanted to win, and be excited for where they're getting, and just there are more people and more players in NA that want to be at the top, and that is an amazing thing to see. But yes, now they are going to be going up against BTK, which is definitely a huge hurdle.
Hey, at least his head's in the right place, right? He's humble, and you got to respect it. But yeah, like you said, if that was a challenge for them, it's going to get even harder as they climb up that ladder. As we're getting down to the nitty gritty, right? The top 3 teams in North America, BTK, Cloud9, and Gosu Night Horde. But officially, we're seeing a dark horse rise to the occasion, which is definitely a sight to see. You don't often get to see these dark horses actually pull through with this. But there is a chance. There's a chance that they can make it to the grand finals if they keep their composure and perform like what we've seen up against Godspeed. It's only up to them to do it, though. We know one thing for certain. BTK is not playing any games. And hopefully Godspeed, Godspeed, we see them in the future for NACT. Hopefully they don't go anywhere. Definitely well-deserved to make it into top 4. And that's still a victory that they should be proud about.
Top 3 is where Night Horde's at. They're fighting for that number 2, number 1 spot, and I love that for them. But BTK versus Night Horde will be here after this 15-minute break.
A darkness plagues this world, unseen by mortal eyes. People prayed to the Immortal One to safeguard the sanctity of peace.
The ceremony's starting! It's Suyo! It's Suyo!
I bear this mask, for this duty is mine alone.
Ceremony over? Mommy, I'm scared. What is that?
Fear festers into darkness. But deep within, there is hope to crush that fear. Through this mask, I see no fear.
Welcome to the land of God!
ようか。
This pro player's Suyo tutorial will help you win your games. Hey guys, this is Liz with a special episode of Strategy Dissect. Today we're gonna deep dive into some great Suyo play in a competitive tournament to show you some of the best tips and tricks from the pro players. Get it? Suyo. First tip, take full advantage of Suyo's short skill cooldowns, or in best player's words,
utilize his low CDs.
What this means is to frequently use Suyo skills to traverse around the map in and out of the battle. Here are a few common combos. First up is the travel combo, combining skill 1 and skill 3. This is frequently used when you need to travel around the map or terrain faster. You can also use skill 3 plus skill 1, whichever suits you better. Next up is the teamfight entrance combo. Use enhanced skill 1 plus enhanced skill 2 and save your skill 3 to execute or reposition. You will find this to be your most commonly used combo in a teamfight for the best crowd control and damage. In this clip, you can see that Mobazane was able to use his combo to shred the health bar of Bane while positioning himself back into the safe area for a second entry. Second tip is to be patient with close body fights. Suyo is quite squishy. We highly recommend you to take your time and wait for the team before diving in. In this example, Mobazane was securing the turtle for his team while spotting the entire opponent team ready for a Luoyi teleport play. So he dashed away to create distance first, patiently waiting for his team before diving back in with a full teamfight combo to clean up the battlefield. Maybe Zane should learn to do this more often. Last but not least, here is the build used by our pro players that you can also use to improve your Suyo gameplay. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so we can see you next time.
This weekend, North America's top teams go head-to-head. Who will rise to the top? All eyes are on the title as only the strongest will survive. Don't miss the NACT 2024 Fall Playoffs. Stay tuned this weekend.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. We've got the long anticipated second matchup of the playoff bracket, lower bracket specifically. We're going to have BTK going up against Gosu Nighthorde, who just put on an absolute show against Godspeed. Alongside me on the caster's desk, we're going to have Steph, Wheezy, and Trek still repping it out for the long haul. How you boys feeling?
I'm feeling good. We had a great Series 1. Series 2, even though it was a 2-0, you know, it was still entertaining, and I'm hoping we got some more in store for us.
Yet to see a game go the distance, though, and hopefully we'll get this with the lower bracket finals. This is going to be our final series for the night, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Nighthorde coming off of a strong win, BTK having lost the last game against C9, do we still feel like Nighthorde is an uphill battle?
I still think that it is an uphill battle for Nighthorde. As we see in stats, they have yet to really put a dent into BTK. As we heard from Alcyon, though, that means that they've had experience against them. They also got to see some of the strategies of how Cloud9 beat them. So maybe Ghost of Nighthorde has done some homework and they're ready for this series.
And the thing about it is BTK and Gosu Nighthorde, they did face off for the first week of the NACT fall regular season. And this is when you get to see how teams scale through the entire season and how effective it is. And that's what we're going to be measuring, how they performed in week 1 versus how they perform right now for a shot to make it into the grand finals position. It's definitely been a long journey, and they're one step closer to achieving that. This is both for BTK and also for Gosu Nighthorde.
Something that I know is, at least in the back of my head, was Godspeed was right there head-to-head with BTK and just got 0-2'd by Nighthorde. Does this mean Nighthorde is going to be more competitive than Godspeed was in their matchup? How much have they actually learned? You said it right where I wanted you to say it. We get to see how these teams scale, and I think that is going to be so beautiful because there's so many questions that I feel like have to be answered. But the first thing I need to answer from you guys is, which of these skins are you going to be trying to get? The Imperial Champion Lapu Lapu or the Imperial Champion Lapu Lapu? But you're going to have to be fast. There are only 30 of these hero skins available. So if you haven't already, scan the QR code, get there fast, and then you've got the whole code that you can input right there.
Yep, the code is Rikef Mummo. That was an easy one, so I had to steal it from Zeke. Imperial Champion for Lavu, and 30 skins, so they're probably gone by now. We'll see exactly how it goes out. But either way, is this the last giveaway before grand finals?
It is, and Rikef Momo, that sounds like a skin itself, as you said
the
it.
Rikef Momo skin.
That's a Barat skin.
It is. So scan the QR code. It's going to take you in the game. Type that code in, and you'll have a chance. 30 available. It's not region locked. Anybody can get it across the world, but it's first come, first serve.
So I was just talking about it, the Gosu Nighthorde matchup against BTK. How do you guys feel like this is going to go down?
Well, as you can see, my vote went for BTK. I do think they are the favorites here. I will say this, and I think I'll talk about it a bit more with Wheezy later on in the draft, or if we have some time to kill. I think there are some strategies that Ghost of Nighthorde could take to maybe win some games or win the series, but still, I got to put my money on BTK.
Yeah, I mean, it's only right. I mean, BTK has just been way more dominant when in terms of the regular season, and they have a lot more players on their team that are just kind of excel in those specific roles. Speaking of roles, as we are taking a look at Gosu Nighthorde's lineup, it is going to be Mikasa in the XP lane, Dez in the jungle, Legend in the mid lane, Alcyon inside of the roam position, and Oh My Foe in the gold lane. We just seen them perform, and they're fresh off of a 2-0 sweep against Godspeed.
Do you feel like that 2-0 sweep is going to give them against the a good advantage against the BTK lineup that we've got right here, Trex?
I mean, you can always look at those things different ways. You could say that they're going to be coming in hot after a 2-0 with high morale, high feelings, or you could say that they might burn out by game 3 or 4. I think there's always different people that try to, you know, paint it different directions. I think what I can say is both teams are going to come into this, you know, playing their best because they're both hungry for that grand final slot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the hunger is definitely going to be there. But Zeke, yeah, I would love to know. What are you thinking?
I think Night Horde at this point would love nothing more than a chance to go to the finals, and I think they might want it more than BTK coming into it. BTK's got a really strong lineup, and I know they're hungry to get back at C9 after having been beaten up pretty bad by them in 2 different series, mind you. I don't think anybody has been waiting for this opportunity longer than Night Horde to just get there.
I mean, you definitely can't say it's impossible, right? We go back to, I think, fall season last year? BTK lost to Avalon, 3rd place on a live stage, got knocked out of the same exact position. So as we know from NACT, anything is definitely possible. But just like that time last fall season, I still think that BTK is the favorite. But again, anything can happen in NACT. I never count any team out.
It's just a weird situation with the Bloodthirsty Kings because during the spring, they have the playoffs buff. They make it to grand finals. They're able to win all the way to a game 7 several times. But it's during the fall season that they have yet to really showcase the playoffs buff. So is it like is it a pendulum? Is it swinging on both sides? Or will BTK continue on their glory this season as well?
So the question that's going to come down to is which direction is the pendulum swinging in right now? We're about to find out. The draft is ready. Who's going to drop?
All right, let's jump into this draft. And there was something I wanted to mention to you, Weezy, right? We saw, now Night Horde doesn't seem to be doing it right now, but we saw a beautiful answer that Cloud9 brought to BTK, and it was banning out the Alpha, banning out the Suyo, and then picking up the Julian, right? And I think it's very similar to what we saw last fall against MOBA Zane, which it was a different meta, but it was ban out MOBA, then ban out the Akai, ban out the Fred, ban out some of his picks and leave him with not many choices. And that seemed to be the answer. Night Horde does switch it up a bit though. They give up the chip, which could be bad for Night Horde.
Yeah, definitely paying some homage. It is kind of crazy. It's like looking at the past. I mean, we've seen it so many times. I remember back those specific moments, they even forced out the Ballman on Zane. They pulled out a hero that was put in the grave for a while way back then. And yeah, it's a similar strategy, right? I mean, it's been proven to be effective. And also, I mean, there is something that can work in Night Horde's favor. They can see where BTK fell short up against Cloud9 and try and implement the same strategy or do it even better. And that's definitely showcasing right there, specifically with that Julian banned off the table with the Suyo right behind it. It's a good start in the draft, and honestly, I couldn't have did it any better myself. The Mathilda, I wonder how this is going to go into effect, banning that out. But we are seeing some picks on the board. You did mention the chip, and the chip has been a question that we've been asking for a while. Just how effective is it? And I think me and you can both agree that it's had a major impact toward the victory for the teams who have slotted it in. And it's something that BTK can lean in on. Just having the element of surprise to keep a team on their toes, to turn the numbers in your favor in the blink of an eye can definitely overwhelm the forces of Gosu Night Horde. But they have some answers themselves. They have the Khalid. They have the Eve. You mentioned this Eve, right? You got to say it a lot. You said Hoon was one of the only mages to really pull out this Eve, but now we're seeing Legend step into the scene. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not crazy about the Eve pick. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not crazy about it. And as this draft continues to go on, yes, they get the Khalid, but they give MOBA Zane a comfort jungle pick. They give up the chip. Zia gets a comfort Harith. Right now, this draft is going exactly the way that BTK wants it. A way that BTK normally never gets it, right? Like, BTK never gets a draft this comfortable for themselves. And as I said, I don't think the chip is ready to actually be in play in the land of Dawn. I think it's a hero that needs to be banned. I think unless you're on first pick, this hero cannot be opened up. Unless you're going to get 2 major power picks, it cannot be opened up. I think Night Horde should have taken the Alpha maybe for the trade, limited down on MOBA Zane, but they go for the Eve, they go for the Khalid, they're going to pick up the Bane here. It's a pretty slow play so far on the side of Night Horde.
Yeah, they're going to open up the doors for the XP laners to be slotted in, but the gold lane has been picked up from BTK with Zia rocking in on that Harith. We know he's a 3-dimensional drafter. We know he can rise to the occasion when it comes to this Harith specifically. We got to see how Nighthorde kind of responds to this. There are some options. I mean, it's a heavy dive-centric composition already for the side of BTK. With the chip to be able to kind of traverse across the map, bring some members with him as well. You got to expect the unexpected. So maybe playing, again, for a marksman with survivability should be what Nighthorde leans into, or a hero in the gold lane that can have the survivability aspects, such as the Ruby, which is now taken off the board from BTK, which is going to probably mean the Natan or the Claude should be slotted in here for the side of Nighthorde. Now, it's a little tricky, right? Because you have this Khalid, the CC's banned out. I like that. It's actually a very respectable drafting going on right now from the side of Nighthorde. It's kind of a read, like we said, from NACTs in the counters that we've been able to see on this this CC, specifically up against the Khalid. It's not something you want to go head to head with. It's just going to force another hero to possibly get the job done. Maybe the glue may slip in here for BTK into the hands of Fried Chicken.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how it moves. I think Fried Chicken will be comfortable. One of the picks I'm really anticipating is what is Hoon going to pick for mid lane here. I've mentioned Lilia a few times. It hasn't gotten picked up. They could still go for the Vexana, honestly. The Eternal Guardian is a nice stiff arm against the Bane, against some of these heroes that want to get up to you. Like I said, Lilia Black Shoes will be a nice counter against the RWM as well. Be able to kind of get out of there safely, be aggressive, move back, dodge out from this Raging Sandstorm. Just, I mean, a lot of decent picks for the side of BTK here. Nighthorde, on the other hand, first pick coming in. We need gold lane, I feel like.
I would love to see a Kadita here. I think a Kadita for BTK would be disgusting up against Nighthorde's draft right now. But wait a second. Mikasa, though,
okay.
I feel like we know where this is going. So this is not going to be a Khalid. No, this is, yeah, Mikasa.
Do you think they're
gonna flex that over.
Wait. Do you think they're gonna pick the Diggy? Do you think they're gonna pick the Diggy on Nighthorde? The Diggy Freya like we saw before?
We could see it, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little risky, especially going up against a team like BTK, because if that Diggy is not impactful, it's going to work in the opposite direction, and BTK is going to scale way faster than expected for this series. But that is going to be Mikasa in this on this Freya. So does that mean Mikasa is going to run the Freya in the gold lane and flex over Dez to the XP? Does that mean Dez is going to run... I'm just wondering which way this is going to go. You never know at Nighthorde.
My thoughts are the same exact thing. It's like, does Dez play? Because Mikasa's the one who's always on the Freya normally. But that means Mikasa has to be in gold. And there's the Diggy. I told you, man. I told you. Once I saw the Freya, I was like, they're going for the Diggy Freya again. Here we go, boys. Game number 1. Arlot also finally picked up for the first time this whole day, a hero that was the dominator of the EXP lane. And then just for some nice background damage, we get the Sicilian into Hoon's hands.
Yeah, man, I got to see this Diggy in action, and I got to see how effective it is. We'll see, especially up against a team of like BTK, their level of gameplay. They make little to no errors, and this is going to be a battle for Nighthorde. Definitely, when Zeke asked us the question, is this an upscale battle? I think it is. I mean, when last time these two teams fought it out, it was a clean sweep over into BTK's favor. But Nighthorde, off from that momentum boost, taking down Godspeed, could be the difference. They're already pumped up and ready to go. BTK, they've had a little bit of a break, so hopefully that engine's running.
I mean, we're also talking about... Hold on, let's jump into game number 1. This is a best of 5 in the lower bracket finals. Gosu Nighthorde trying to make a statement against the bloodthirsty Kings.
Yeah, and right now, history is in the making. This is a battle for who will move on for the final seat in the grand finals in this best of 5. A lot is going to be told, and one team will move forward. One team will be knocked out of this NACT.
Yeah, I mean, and as I said, having this Diggy, man, it's we're talking about one of the best early laning teams, BTK. I mean, they get the upper hand on Cloud9, who is the top standing team right now. They even get the upper hand on them sometimes in the laning phase. BTK is known for being aggressive early on. They're known for winning out. It's definitely it's a little scary looking at Gosu Nighthorde's composition, having this Diggy and this Yve. They are not the greatest wave clears. They are not the the most aggressive mid laners.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it kind of plays out in their favor. I'm looking at this Diggy. So it was actually Maple Leaf who was the one that pulled out this composition. So this is the first time that we're seeing Gosu Nighthorde use this combo. Is it gonna be effective? Can they pull it off within the same fashion? Like you mentioned, up against a team like BTK with their composition, it's very troubling if he's not able to get those reverse times.
I mean, I think as long as Alcyon, like I get it, Alcyon plays the gold lane, helps give Mikasa as much of a good game as possible. Legend just slow plays in the mid. Gosu Nighthorde doesn't try to exactly contest big fights. They might even give up first turtle here, maybe even second turtle, and just kind of slow play this. Just wait for mid to late game when they can really pop off. If they can do that, if they cannot lose too much, there's opportunity for the composition.
Yeah, definitely opportunity. Needs to be a little bit passive, though. There goes Shark already harassing into the enemy jungle, given that vision. Chicken may go in for a play as well. You can already tell the rotations coming in.
Now a little bit of damage onto Oh My Foe there. Shark holding down the front side. RWM does come out as Shark falls. Oh My Foe getting the kill. Wide Chicken falls as well. It's 2 down on the side of BTK. Gosu Nighthorde are fighting, but Mobizane's fighting back, finds Dez and Oh My Foe. So now it's a 2 for 2. First turtle falls into the hands of BTK.
I mean, that's a big play, right? I mean, they were able to take down a jungler and an XP laner and losing their tank and an XP laner to respond back and also claiming a turtle for BTK. So they're overall going to win that trade. But look at the top side. Already a lot of that gold plating stripped off. Mikasa is going to be the one running that. We were asking the question who was going to actually spearhead this Freya, and you can tell he's comfortable. That's one of his strongest heroes.
Mikasa definitely, I mean, it's definitely a comfort pick, and I think it's a decent, if you're going to pull a strategy like this, do it in the early game, see if you can get yourself a quick advantage, catch BTK off guard. I can tell you this, BTK did not come into this game expecting this composition to go up against them, and you immediately have to reevaluate the way you want to play this out. And I will say BTK most likely on a bit of a clock here. Luckily they do have the Sicilian though, so that should help him out in the late game.
Yeah, and he does have that war cry, so he has increased sustained damage to work in his favor.
The damage on the top side, though. Hoon able to get Sanguine Claws. Mon's Force does drop. Out comes a shortcut as members of BTK start popping up. Mikasa taking some damage, finally taken out. Hoon able to get the last shot. Oh My Foe with a quicksand guard, but it's not enough to help him live. Shark falls 2 for 1 right now. Make it a 3. Dez now on the run as Wide Chicken chases him down. Zane gets a couple pokes off, but Gosu Nighthorde does engage with the loss.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of not having a strong front line outside of Mikasa. When you don't have a true roamer, they're going to punish.
Oh, speaking of punish, Alcyon gets punished.
Maybe able to get some more. Look at Dez. Mikasa going to engage.
Asa does bring in the descent. Gets a little bit of damage off. Gosu Nighthorde is trying to defend, but they did get the first tower, and they're able to defend the top tower still, so Gosu Nighthorde still not out of this.
Yeah, I would say that's an okay trade. They can definitely afford that. Right now, you are seeing Zia on the bot side with this Harith pickup. He's winning this engagement up against Oh My Foe, who's forced to kind of rotate down and clear this out. Blade of Despair just now picked up by Mikasa as well to be able to hit like a truck with that Valkyrie's Descent. He has that Inspire as well to be able to deal some additional attack speed. Definitely not the person you want to run into on the 1v1 engagement, even up against the R-Lot with the crowd control. Did pick up that Thunder Belt as well.
And Mikasa just locked in the BOD. Went straight for it. First damage item. It's definitely going to start stacking the bunnies. Wait a second, RWM does come out. Mobazane still able to get the turtle. A lot of damage onto Zia, though. Zia trying to get away, but Oh My Foe still finds the kill. Alcyon goes down. Mobazane finds one. Zia falls as well to Dez. It's a 2 for 1 right now. Gosu Nighthorde now on the run. They were able to win out in terms of fight, but Wide Chicken doesn't want to let it go that easily. Oh My Foe with the passive gets caught by the Sanguine Claws, pulled back in. Pops Quicksand Guard. Able to get back onto the tower. Hoon trying to get some final shots off, but unable to find the kill. BTK walk away with the second turtle, but Gosu Nighthorde still find trades on the map.
Yeah, but the problem is Hoon, right? He's now 3-0-3 on the Sicilian. That's a lot of kills, especially for a late game mage this early on in this match. Something that Nighthorde is going to have to watch out for.
Shark maybe looks for the play into Dez, but Dez is all right. And as you said, right, like Hoon being 3-0-3 this early is scary because he's going to really start hitting now, probably around the 9-10 minute mark, and it's going to be a problem. Mikasa zoning in onto the tower. I don't care about White Chicken. I don't care about no one. I'm taking the tower. Valkyrie Descent does come in. Locking on, gets a knock-up onto White Chicken. Alcyone getting low, able to pop the reverse time, or the time journey, and White Chicken forced to run away. Shark comes in with the shortcut. Able to bring Zia and Mobazane into the battle. Getting the killing Z onto Dez. Now a nice stun onto Legend. Alcyone forced to use the flicker. Mikasa back to the base to get some health as BTK moves on to this tier 3 in the bot lane.
Yeah, we'll be able to clear this out, which means overall BTK will win the trade, but they want some more.
Alpha Charge comes in. Alcyone taking out Mobazane. Finds the kill once again. Now on my foe. Forced to use the Raging Sandstorm, looking for Zia, unable to find it. Mobazane with the double, the unstoppable. BTK now on the uprise, a 4K gold lead.
Everybody's so focused on that Julian, they forgot about the alpha. Mobazane now 5-0-3, highest kills in this game at the 7-minute mark. A lead by 3,000 gold on top of having 2 turtles, but tied on the map in terms of turrets. Both tier 3s in the mid still standing, and that should be the next objective for both sides. You are going to see Zane quickly on this turtle, should be able to take it down a little to no problem, and now the siege may be on the way for the mid lane momentarily. Right now, BTK, they are in the lead. They are controlling the pressure of this game. 2v1 matchup.
Oh, my foe going to go down there. I'm telling you, Chip, he shouldn't be allowed in the Land of Dawn. They got to ban him, man. This hero should not be around.
Everybody getting a ticket for that taxi down to the bot side to get a little bit of damage onto Oh My Foe. That's going to be his 4th death of this game. Alcyone right with him as well.
Mobazane should be okay here. The Valkyrie Descent does lock on. A little damage from Mikasa. Mobazane shut down. Mikasa able to get the gold. Now they're going to take a tower as well. Gosu Nighthorde still throwing wild punches.
It's Mikasa versus the world right now, but a counterplay from BTK to avenge Mobazane.
Dark doesn't have the shortcut. Time Journey does come in as Lamon's Force drops, and Alcyone drops along with it. Dez falls next, and now Legend on the run. Might not be able to get away from this final slash. Locks in, hits Mikasa as well. Mikasa does have the Valkyrie Descent, able to find Shark, looking for another shot onto Fried Chicken. Zia finally popping up in the midst of this. They're going to go for the tier 2 in the top side. Gosu Nighthorde pushed back into the base.
Able to avenge Zane falling right there. Some great execution in the counterplay from the Bloodthirsty Kings. Mikasa did not fall, though, able to get back to safety, but this is going to open up the opportunity for BTK to push into this tier 3 turret.
Oh My Foe with the big Raging Sandstorm, able to stop the final slash. Mikasa on the run, though, too much damage. Hoon with the unstoppable kill. Deadly Catch does come out just to zone him back, but the tower still falls in the mid side. Gosu Nighthorde losing more and more ground.
Yeah, now getting close to that 10-minute mark, officially trickling into the mid-game. Clock of Destiny is going to be picked up with the Ice Queen wand from Hoon over there on the Sicilian. He was denied that Eve that we've seen him thrive on so far, this NACT. But Legend, he hasn't really been able to have that same impact. Just the pressure from the BTK has been overwhelming. Not even really able to get a decent RWM to be able to make the team engage on these objectives so far. You are looking at Mobazane already pulling the aggro of this Lord, and look at the rotation from Nighthorde ready for a contest.
Shortcut comes out once again. Zia gonna pop through. Deadly Catch. Able to tear it down. Here comes Oh My Foe looking for Mobazane. Mobazane still able to get that Lord, though. Oh My Foe trying to get some health back. Mobazane on the run as Mikasa tries to close the distance. Shark finally drops Mikasa. Gets the kill. White Chicken now in a bad spot, getting chased down. Oh My Foe gonna lock on. Mikasa with the shutdown. Another shutdown. A double kill. Putting more gold in the hands of Mikasa, but can Mikasa really solo the world?
He's looking like he can. I mean, nobody can go toe-to-toe with him on this Freya. He's just been so dominant in terms of these fights, but that's not enough to win this game. You got to also get these objectives, and that's where BTK is skyrocketing. With this lore on their side, they're going to start pushing into the remaining tier 2 turrets, possibly. A battle may be on the way on the top side, though.
I mean, you have to remember, right? It's not just a one-man game. It is a 5-man sport. Oh My Foe gonna get dropped down. Zia able to get the kill. Another tower drops on the side of BTK. Lord is down. Gosu Nighthorde defend a lot. They still have even a tier 2 up right now. Are they going to be able to defend it, though?
Yeah, that's going to be a very hard task to accomplish, especially with how fast BTK is rotating around. Malefic Roar picked up by Mikasa. Divine Glaive picked up by Hoon for some late game magic penetration. Hoon should start hitting really hard, especially with him having 5 kills right now. I wish, like you said, there was a stat counter to know exactly where the Sicilian is at. But with the kills, he's been hitting a lot with those Bats impacts. You're already seeing him with the Clock of Destiny as well. Mobazane off to a really good start. He is currently level 15, scaling over Dez, sitting at level 13 on this Bane. Right now, Gosu Nighthorde, they're not too far out of this game, but BTK definitely in the lead at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, BTK has definite control of the map. Nighthorde was able to get some nice off-lane steals, but here comes Sharp with the shortcut. They're trying to look for Mikasa. Valkyrie's Descent does come down, and comes the Time Journey as well. A lot of damage on a White Chicken. Mikasa, though, just can't move. Hoon able to get double kill. Zia with another double. That's 3-man down for Gosu Nighthorde. Nothing for BTK. They're going to press on the attack.
Yeah, too far overextended with no turret behind for security, especially when there's a chip in the hands of Shark on the opposing side. I mean, he's going to drop that teleport every time and outnumber you when you don't have a full 5-man team.
Teal play for Shark. Gets stopped in his tracks from the deadly catch, but Zia still gets that inhibitor. Out comes the RWM, trying to force Zane back, trying to force Chicken back. Dez gonna get hit by the final slash. Out comes the Time Journey for a little bit more shield. Mikasa, oh my foe, take the front line. They're able to find Moba Zane, and that's gonna be a big play for Gosu Nighthorde, once again regaining some space.
Yeah, doesn't buy them enough time to be able to go into this Luminous Lord, which is now spawned in. Zane out of the game for the next 25 seconds. Shark, realizing they don't have the retro play, will work on the split push, but Gosu Nighthorde is not going to waste any time.
The damage onto Mikasa. Dez as well, gonna drop Hoon. I mean, this guy's 7-0-9 right now. You saw the gold earlier. I'm sure he's at about 10,000 at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely stacked out. He's going to be able to pretty much burst down anybody in this game, especially now getting close to that 14-minute mark. This is what happens when you're on point with those Bats impacts, when you're able to get the kills on top of that, and no retribution needed. He's going to take the Lord as well for the Bloodthirsty Kings.
Yeah, I mean, what do you even, at this point, Gosu Nighthorde, what is the answer to that? They do have Mikasa, they do have Oh My Foe, they have a way to the back line, but when they take these fights, they're going to have to come at angles.
Yeah, and right now, Gosu Nighthorde, they need to find an angle to keep BTK off guard. They need to find some way to disrupt their synergy. We thought BTK, we were asking the question, is their engine running after taking a little bit of a break? It's been ready to go, and it's revved up. Gosu Nighthorde, a lot harder than it was for their match up against Godspeed. Forced on the back foot, Luminous Lord on the bot side, quickly marching toward their base in a full 5-man team of BTK ready to take this fight and possibly go in for a game winner. We are moments away. Can Gosu Nighthorde push them back?
Oh My Foe takes a lot of damage there. Does get shot down mid-air. Hoon finds the shot. Inhibitors are crushing, crumbling. Zia finds the last one. Deadly Catch does come out. Valkyrie's Descent able to lock onto Shark. Pulls him back in. Mobazane on the run as well. RWM to shred down onto the Lord. Fried Chicken low. Dez low as well. And Zia gets the kill. Fried Chicken drops Mikasa. Able to try to fight back, but it's just not enough. That is it. Game number 1 going over to BTK.
Quick and decisive, able to find the objectives and claim game number 1 against Gosu Nighthorde. BTK yet to disappoint their fans when it comes to this matchup. Gosu Nighthorde, on the other hand, they've got to work out these kinks. You cannot afford the early game to easily go over to a team like BTK with no problem. They were just skyrocketing on these objectives. I feel like even with Mikasa on that comfort pick, it still kind of worked in BTK's favor, because even though he was getting the kills, he was kind of playing into their plan, right? Overly aggressive and really more focused on the solo than the team aspect. And like we mentioned, it's a 5-man sport, and you got to bring your A game against the Bloodthirsty Kings with 1 point down. They've got 2 more to go in this best of 5. Nighthorde needs to find a way to even out the series.
That's definitely going to be tough, but I mean, who on that Sicilian, man? That is 9, 0, and 10. That is ridiculous, man. I don't know whether it was the stacks or the 6 items he had in about 12 minutes that really was doing the damage, but 72,000 damage dealt from Hoon. It's good to see him make a big impact. I feel like Hoon, like we just haven't really seen Hoon make those big plays that we like to see him make. We haven't really seen Hoon really pop off like we want to see him pop off, but I think right there in that game, he had a moment to shine.
And you know, it's because we kind of see him play a lot of these utility mages, right? Like that Eve, for example. I mean, that's just more for the RWM, for the ground control, for the slow effect. But it's your team that's really cleaning up the house and cleaning shop and getting those kills. But when you're running something like the Sicilian, he's going in for blood. He's going in to hit that Bat's impact with those stacks and pretty much shred anything in his crosshairs. And that's exactly what we've seen today from game number 1. Definitely, if there was an MVP, my odds and my guess would go over to Hoon. Maybe just from him being denied his favorite Eve, a response, a statement over there to Legend.
Yeah, I mean, this is very similar to what we saw last time. Whenever it's so weird to see Nighthorde playing against Godspeed. They went for just straight meta game number 1, and this time it's like they gave away everything that BTK wants. So I think Gosu Nighthorde needs to kind of pull themselves back together here and get back to what they were doing in the previous series.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. Obviously, this method is not working, but we know that Nighthorde, they have game plans. I mean, even when it came to Godspeed, even us casters, we counted them out and we thought that Godspeed was going to be the one to kind of close out their series, and they came with surprises and they're ready to go, and I'm hoping to be surprised again for this series. But now BTK will be 1 point ahead of them in this best of 5. Hopefully it's not the same story as it was in week 1. Like I said, we want to see how this team scales, how both teams scales through the regular season all the way up into this final moment, and this is Nighthorde's chance to show us just how far they have came.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens, Nighthorde, it seems like every season they're stepping up a little bit more. They're placing a little bit higher. But definitely, depending on how this best of 5 goes, I think is a huge statement on how they really stand up against the big dogs, right? Against the big 2. Can we put Nighthorde in the big 3, right? Have they earned it yet? And they don't earn it unless they bring this down to the wire. And right now, if they want to do that, there definitely needs to be some things that change.
Well, we do know one thing. Nighthorde's definitely humble even when facing a loss. I mean, we got to do that interview with LC1, and he said it himself. He's ready to go, and they're going to take this seriously, but also you can tell they're having some fun along the journey. Now, with this point in BTK's favor, they have a massive advantage. If they can try and go in for the 2-0 closure, it's going to put a lot of insurance on them with this series. It's very hard to come back with a reverse sweep in a best of 5. So game number 2 is going to be very important for Gosu Nighthorde. I would say definitely stay away from the Freya. I mean, I don't think that Mikasa's a bad Freya, but I think the game plan with the Freya is an issue. I think he's able to get the kills. I think he's able to execute, but the team is just not on the same page as him when he's going in for these plays. He's getting the kills, but it's not trading onto any objectives. So maybe going in for something a little bit more traditional. The Diggy as well. The Diggy Freya combo, it just didn't rub the right way. You know, it just didn't hit the mark that they were looking for. And I think they need to, especially against a team of this caliber, they need to stick to more of a traditional draft.
You know, at this point, I'm not even like completely counting out the Freya. With the way we've been seeing rubies in gold lanes, with the way we've been seeing Alice's in gold lanes, I think the Freya could maybe find a spot in the gold lane. But I think, yeah, hitting the Diggy in there as well, I get the idea behind it, but against such an aggressive team like BTK, against a team that understands how to play the laning phase, especially against a weak mid, I think, you know, if you're going to go for the Freya pick, if you're going to go for one cheese pick, don't put 2 more behind it, right? Don't just go all out. It's okay to pick a singular cheese pick here and there. You just don't have to do it in your whole draft.
There's too many variables that they're changing, right? You got to change one thing at a time and see how effective it is. But when you're changing several things at the same time, it's hard to figure out where you went wrong. Now, here's some things that are going right. The Phoveus has been picked up by Gosu Nighthorde. I do like this pickup. We've yet to really see some strong answers against it, and it's a safe option. It's going to be matched up, though, against this Cho. And, hey, every single Cho we've seen has claimed a victory so far. Shark ready to showcase that footwork with the G Kundo paired off with the Valentina, which is a great combination because when you have the Valentina, if Nighthorde decides to pick up a roamer with group CC, then now you have not only single target CC from the Way of the Dragon, group CC from the G Kundo, but additional CC from the Valentina. And that actually forces out this Mathilda pick. They'd rather give up the Circling Eagle than give up some group crowd control from that roamer. But there's an I'm Offended that still can be picked up by Hoon, as they are going to go ahead and lock up this Ruby.
Yeah, Cho actually does have, like even overall of all of NACT, I was just looking at some of the numbers. He's got like 9 or 10 wins and only 2 losses. So far, he's been a really good pick in the hands of a lot of roamers. And I think he just, against so many different, against a meta where there's so many fighters, so many people that want to just like try to be up close and personal, Cho is a great answer. We saw it pick apart Nats on the glue. We've seen Cold World pick apart BTK with it. We've seen Joybaj damage onto Mobazane when he was on the Bane. Like, we've just seen it work very well, I think, in the current meta.
And speaking of Mobazane, I mean, taking a look at the jungle so far, the Suyu's banned out. This was BTK, the one to ban that out. The Nolan and the Alpha and the Julian, this is just pure Mobazane targeting right now from the side of Gosu Nighthorde, but there's still Bane for the taking, and BTK has first pick. Do you think they ban it? No, I don't think
I think Nighthorde's going to ban it. I think Nighthorde's going to ban it.
They can't. Zane could pick it up right now. If he picks it up right now.
We're on second phase. It's banned.
Oh, we are on second phase.
Second
right.
phase?
Oh,
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They can ban it out. So what do you think? If they ban out the Bane, what do we see Zane pull out here?
Maybe Roger. Maybe we see the Roger pick, especially with Zia on the Alice. But if I'm Nighthorde, I just fully commit it. They go for the lead. If I'm Nighthorde, I would have fully committed. I would have Bane, Roger, force Zane into something. He's going something, I'll tell you that. But it ain't going to be meta. So, yeah, definitely a lot of options down. They could still ban the Bane as their last pick. But even then, Mobazane pretty low on choices.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see where this would go if that happened, and there's still a possibility for it. I mean, neither side has really picked out a jungle, so even though they're banning out Zane, they're kind of banning out themselves as well. There goes the Fanny. So, I mean, hey, Hayabusa is really up for grabs right now, and there goes the Bane! So, you know what is going on right now? This is going to be very interesting for both junglers. This should be a Haya prio. I don't know if Zane's going to pick up the Hayabusa here, though, if he's going to go for something else entirely. This is going to be the first time we've seen this, the entire NACT.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if Zane picks up a Haya, I will, I don't know. I'll definitely...
Oh, go ahead.
That would surprise me. That would surprise me. Maybe a Lance or something. But hey, man, maybe he's been hiding something. I think we're more likely to a Roger. Maybe. I mean, I think we might see like a freaking Saber or a Baldwin before we see a Haya. Before we see a Hayabusa come out of Mobazane. But hey, man, they're saving it. They're putting him way back. We're going to the last pick here. I like it.
Oh man,
maybe.
I think y'all could have heard.
Mobazane
they
picks
didn't hear
up Haya, Zeke will do 50 push-ups on live stream.
He could pull out Lancelot. I mean, maybe something he picks out. I feel like we've seen the Lancelot a couple of times. I don't know if he will, though. He could go something like the Paquito. We haven't seen the Paquito in the jungle in a while. I mean, there's still some options out there. It's just like, what is he going to go for? I mean, even the Akai. I mean, he could really do a throwback and pull out the Akai. But it's going to be interesting. Nonetheless, the answer still doesn't change that this is something we have yet to see happen to Mobazane. And they're going to even take the Mortis away from him. This is insane.
Because they know. They're like, listen, you're not going to play. YSS?
Dude, I'm all for it.
I mean, I'm all for it for nostalgicness, but I don't know. I'm wondering if the... I guess there's nothing else, man. I don't know. Let's go. Let's go. You take it from here.
Let's go. Hey. Zeke needs to get back in here for this one. No, the YSS, I mean, Zane, this is a comfort pick for him. And obviously, with all his options limited, he's going to go with what he's comfortable on. And what better way to do it than on some good old Yi Sun Shin. As now we're going to be seeing Gosu Nighthorde and BTK fully locked in with their drafts. At least he has some vision across the map to be able to spot out where Gosu Nighthorde is, to not give them that element of surprise. But there is a problem on the playing field. We see how dominant the Suyu is. The Martis can still be pretty aggressive in the early phase. If he can get off those decimations, the anti-CC to top it off as well, it could be a potential way for Gosu Nighthorde to take control of the early phase.
Is this a first pick YSS? I'm trying to think. He's been picked one more time, actually. Who was he played by? Cloud9 actually picked him up. I don't know if that's right. Either way, this is it. Game number 2. BTK with the lead, 1 up. Mobazane on the pick for the fans. Oh my foe on the Martis. What meta did we just fall into, Wheezy?
Hey, I mean, I'm a YSS fan, but the meta we fell into is the Mobazane meta, the MOBA meta.
The MOBA
Zane
meta.
He's comfortable. The MM. I mean, he's able to execute it, but we'll have to see just how well that kind of plays off against these other traditional junglers who's just been a lot more effective. First blood, though, already. Shark will find Alcy1 off screen.
Yeah, the Cho Valentina combo is going to be pretty deadly, I think, from Shark and Hoon. Gosu Nighthorde's going to have to watch out from that. Zia up against Dez. I do think the Ruby should have the upper hand, at least early on. Mobazane's going to have to watch out for that Ruby, though, man. Coming in on the YSS, you have to dash in, you have to dash out to really take advantage of that passive. So it could be a problem.
Well, speaking of problems, Alcy1, Legend very low. You're going to go ahead and use that Synchro Fission. Deal a little bit of chip damage. Here comes the Azure's Wrath from Oh My Foe from the bush. Not going to really hit the mark. But look at the rotations from Zane. He's already working his way toward this turtle. Locked in, connects with the shot on to Oh My Foe as well. Ready to take this turtle. We just got to see how effective it is, right? Maybe the Mountain Shockers are going to give him enough vision to kind of spot out where Nighthorde is.
I mean, it's definitely something. The ult, the Mountain Shocker, definitely. The vision is nice. It's a plus. I think the big problem with YSS has always been just the mechanic that he has to come in and out. And he used to be very good in the meta, but now, whoa!
Ooh, quick cleanup on the fried chicken with the decimation play in the motor coils. Hoon very low, needs to go back. Shark needs to be careful. May fall next. Ooh. That is going to be 1 kill for both sides so far before this turtle. With the turtle spawned in, though, Nighthorde looks to have at least a decent control of this pit. Topside 1v1 matchup, though. Zia and Dez putting on a good fight at about 50% HP.
Yeah, and as I was saying, the YSS, he's a squishy hero that has a pretty low range. And he doesn't have crazy dashes, and he's not exactly an assassin. He's just in a really weird spot. And when you're going up against big fighters, it's trouble. First turtle will go over to Gosu Nighthorde. Honestly, I feel like Gosu Nighthorde has the better draft here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, just with the Martis, right? His whole objective is to pave the early game. He's going to be very aggressive with the anti-CC, with the decimation. He should be able to burst down anybody with the low HP from the side of BTK. I feel like it's going to be a little bit harder to pull off the composition in terms of drafting from the Bloodthirsty Kings if they do want to find this victory. But again, this is Zane on something he thrives on, right? Something he's very comfortable on, regardless of if it's the meta. Sometimes comfort outshines meta. As you are going to see the way the Dragon Connect, though, Mikasa forced to use the Vengeance. Very low, needs to get out of there. Not going to fall. Zane with the Mountain Shocker does not connect as well, and Gosu will disengage.
Gosu Nighthorde, though, does still have river control a little bit. Shark and Hoon trying to do what they can. And I think a lot of this can come down to the way that they play, right? Mobazane is going to need space. So Fried Chicken, Shark are going to have to open that up for them. Zia as well when they get involved. Once BTK can kind of group as a 5, I think the composition will work a lot better. I think Gosu Nighthorde, though, needs to kind of press the gas, right? They have the Martis. They have an advantage. They have the ability to invade. I get it. You're up against Shark. You're up against Hoon. You're up against Mobazane. But you can't let that get in your head. Push the objective. Push the enemy.
Right, and it's off to a better start than game number 1. A little bit more equal footing and not a total domination in favor for the Bloodthirsty Kings. And this could be credit to out-banning Zane and not giving him those comfort picks. I mean, just look at how much of a difference it is in terms of the matchup. This is now more of an even game compared to that